All right. I don't know what happened there. We got booted out before the show even started. So that's great. What a start. What a start. But we are here. I don't know what happened. I did the whole room and I popped in here. It was a different background at one point. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I have no idea what's going on in my end of things. But we are here. 9 a.m. Thursday. Y'all know what that means. It's Firmly Inc. You see Drew. You see myself. We're here to talk some WWE. We're here to talk some AEW. We're here to talk the week of pro wrestling. Yeah. So that is what we are going to do today, per usual, what you are used to. First and foremost, before we usually dive into stuff, Drew, how are we doing this Thursday morning, my friend?
It's good. It's good. It's been a productive week. It's been a warm week.
It's just going to get warmer, dude. It's going to be 98 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah.
And not the boy group. Not the boy group.
Yeah.
So
not the 98 degrees I'd rather it be. But it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. 100%. Gonna be very, very hot. But yes, we've had a pretty decent week in the wrestling side of things as well. Wouldn't say anything catastrophic or anything like major has happened, but couple solid shows on the WWE and AEW side of things. As on the WWE side, we are, next week's the go home week, and then we're at SummerSlam next Saturday. So that's where we are with WWE. They're ramping up their stories, ramping up their matches. We got Sandy, we got Scott, we got Lawrence, we got Peggy, Ophelia in the chat. Welcome in everybody as we kind of get settled and getting ready to start our show here. Before we do, though, we saw a few tributes on the WWE side of things, but I grew up a metal kid, Drew, and the Ozzy Osbourne passing has affected me pretty significantly. I would say. Growing up, that was one of the first, Black Sabbath was one of the first bands, kind of one of the first artists that, when my dad showing me music and stuff, he was a heavier music guy, as I am a heavier music guy. Ozzy Osbourne was kind of one of the first, if not the first. It was either him or the Beatles, I feel like, were like the first two kind of musical artists. My dad was like, hey, like once I was kind of old enough to understand some stuff, he was like, yo, you got to dive into this stuff. Obviously, Ozzy Osbourne was also synonymous with WWE. He was at WrestleMania 2 way back in the 80s. He was the soundtrack for WWE for multiple events. They still use War Pigs as the main anthem for War Games since they brought it back as kind of the survive, first NXT and then now the War Game stuff on the main roster. Scott, I was lucky enough to see him a few times as well. Back in the Ozfest days when I was, a teenager going into high school and stuff like that. All the bands that I was currently liking, System of a Down, Slipknot, Linkin Park, all those bands when they were, becoming who they were. Ozzy was the legend, and he had Ozfest, and they toured all summer, and I was lucky enough to see him 3 times. I saw him twice as the solo act, Ozzy Osbourne, and I was lucky to see him with the original lineup of Black Sabbath during those times too. So, that's kind of a feather in my cap, being able to say, hey, yeah, I got to see him live and stuff like that. But performed on a SmackDown randomly in the 2000s, which was, I remember watching that SmackDown live, and they really didn't promote it that much. It was just kind of like, oh, hey, welcome to SmackDown. Here's Ozzy Osbourne. And I was like, what? Ozzy Osbourne, excuse me? Just a titan. There's not many people in pulp culture. Sadly, a lot of them are older and they've passed, and they're kind of out of the limelight, some of them, but there's not many people of that stature anymore. Like this guy, especially when you talk about heavy metal and like heavier music, this guy was like the found, like he was like the father of it. He was the guy. Black Sabbath started in 1968. That is when Black Sabbath started. That is almost 50 years ago. Just had his last show 3 weeks ago in Birmingham, Alabama.
Right. That was a tribute show, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And then he came out and he played for like 30 minutes. He played the 5 songs that you would know from Black Sabbath and Ozzy. And even though he was sitting in his chair the whole time, he was clearly, he had Parkinson's for a long time. So obviously that is a terrible disease, and he was dealing with that for a long time. But even in that moment, he didn't even sound like, he still sounded pretty good. Like he wasn't obviously peak or even post-peak Ozzy, but like he didn't sound bad at all. And that guy went out on his turn. That's about as good as a go out, honestly. And I say that with respect to the guy, obviously. That's about as good as a see you later as you can ask for.
Yeah.
The guy had a concert, thousands of people in his home country, his home area, Birmingham, played his songs, still sounded pretty good. Everybody was giving him his flowers for everything that he did. And then we find out a couple weeks later, obviously he passes away. But just a titan of pulp culture, because if you take all the music stuff aside, in my opinion, truly the first great reality show.
The Osbournes.
There's no, and again, I don't watch the Kardashians, but there's no Kardashians. There's no any of those. To me, there's none of those shows if the Osbournes does not blow up the way that it blew up. And he wasn't playing a character. That's who Ozzy was. But seeing him in that light, and just how funny he was and how ridiculous that family was, and how much they loved each other. And like, I remember that show just taking off and being a phenomenon, a literal phenomenon. And he really set the pace for what reality television would be too, because that show was monstrous. And like, I think that show also gave him like, that show came out late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around that window. Musically,
it was like the late 90s, I believe.
Yeah, musically, he was still putting out music, but he wasn't relevant from like a new music standpoint at that point. And I feel like that prolonged his career for 10 years. So I just wanted to talk about him off the top, because that was
2002.
2002. And how long did it last? 3 or 4 years? Does it say 2002 to 2000 whatever?
It was 4 seasons.
Okay. It's a hilarious show. I've been seeing the clips now kind of running around on the internet and social medias and stuff like that, obviously because of his passing. But Sharon! He would just be yelling for Sharon. I don't know if you've seen the clip of when they go to a venue.
I know. I basically know the Osbournes from that show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a whole generation. Yeah,
I was not Black Sabbath. That wasn't me. I wasn't into that stuff until much later.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a whole generation of people like you that know or probably found out about Ozzy more through that show than they did. Because at that point, 2002, his biggest hits musically, you're talking 15, 20, 30 years before that.
And the funny thing is, too, is that I really kind of ended up, because of that show, I really ended up knowing Sharon more than Ozzy, because Sharon then, that propelled her career.
Wasn't she on The View? Was she on The View? Well,
No,
she was on some sort of show.
I think it was called.
Okay, something like that. Yeah.
And then she also did. She was one of the first judges of America's Got Talent.
Okay.
I believe, was it America's Got Talent?
That I would not know. That is out of my wheelhouse.
One of those shows. One of the it was either America's Got Talent or the X Factor.
Okay. No, X Factor was the joke. That was when they ate the weird stuff, wasn't it? Wasn't X Factor the? Oh, that's right. That's right. Ophelia, correct. Yeah, America's Got Talent. Ophelia confirms. I don't know if you've ever seen the clip, but I saw it yesterday, and I think I rewatched it like 5 times. But it's on the Osbournes when he's doing a tour, and they go to this venue, and they're showing him the effects and everything and he's real pumped. He's like, oh, he's like loving it. He's smiling. He's like, ooh. And then they start doing bubbles. He's like a bubble machine, and he just goes, and you see his face drop immediately. He just goes, bubbles. He goes, I'm the Prince of fucking Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. Bubbles. And he starts flipping. Oh, I laughed.
The one that I saw was when the cat got out. And he go and get the cat.
And when the TV stuck on the Weather Channel, and he doesn't know how to work the remote, and he's just like, it's the fucking Weather Channel. And he's like, and he's hitting, and then he's just like, he's looking around, Jack, and he's just yelling, Sharon. Oh my God. Tremendous. And then you see some of the, couple clips rolling around of like him with kids, and like, you could tell that guy really enjoyed his life. Obviously at the end it was tough with but you could tell that guy, he was a good, listen, he was 76 years old. That was a good 76. That was a good 76 for Ozzy. He had some fun. He did some things. He had a good time. So yeah, but I wanted to at least, start the show talking about him because I've been listening to Black Sabbath ever since. Just kind of revisiting a lot of the Black Sabbath albums that I own behind me. I got a couple records there, and yeah, man. And then you throw in the wrestling side of it and just how much a WWE Hall of Famer, Ozzy Osbourne, like just how much he's
in the past couple of years.
Yeah, 2021 or 2022. I think it was right around post-COVID era and stuff like that. But like, yeah, man, synonymous with wrestling and just kind of stuff like that. So just wanted to talk about him for a little bit because he meant a lot to me growing up as a heavier music metal fan, and just in my early formative years going to metal shows with my dad and stuff like that. Like, a lot of those bands wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Sabbath and Ozzy and everything he did. And when he was getting a little older in that late 90s, early 2000s, for him to create Ozfest as a platform for all those bands to go around the country and perform in front of people with his name on it. Like Linkin Park, System of a Down, Slipknot, all those bands that grew to giant levels, I don't think they grow to that level without the help of being on Ozfest and being on shows with Ozzy and getting that type of exposure when they were smaller bands. POD, all those bands that were on Ozfest. Ozzy was giving back at that point. He could still perform, and Sabbath sounded as good as I had ever heard a live band when I saw them. But he was giving back to those bands and giving them opportunities that he probably didn't get when he was coming up with Sabbath and all that stuff. So an absolute legend, an absolute titan of mammoth proportions. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. So I wanted to talk about that right off the top. So I'm not going to admit whether I shed a tear or not. But I might have. Because as Hangman Adam Page would say, some people would think that would make me lesser of a man. And I am not the champion of the fucking world, so I have nothing to back that up with. So, it is what it is. No, to me, it made me emotional, not only because it's losing someone that I've listened to my whole life. It reminded me of my dad. Because I got to see Ozzy and Black Sabbath live with him. When I saw Black Sabbath, so Ozzy, the way that Ozfest worked is he would rotate. So he would be live as himself. And then the next year he would do Sabbath, and then he would just rotate years. So it wasn't Black Sabbath every year. It was a rotation. So I saw him 3 times. It was Aussie, Sabbath, Aussie. That was kind of how it went. And my dad, this was all before I could drive. So I was, 14, 15, high school, 8th grade high school. My dad would bring me and my friends to the shows because my dad liked heavy music. And he loved live music. So we went, and I vividly remember when we were waiting for Sabbath, the band right before, the person right before Sabbath that year was Marilyn Manson. So Manson finishes up, and then we're waiting for Black Sabbath. And I remember my dad, he's probably close to my age or a little older than I am now at that time, right? And he's sitting there, and you got me and my 3 high school friends who, this is the coolest thing we've ever done, is be at Ozfest. We're 14, like everything's the coolest thing we ever do. So we're like, oh shit, this rules. And I look over at my dad, and he's like more excited than us. And I'm like, hey, and he's like, I've never seen Black Sabbath. Like, he's like, I've never seen Black Sabbath live. And I'm like, really? Because my dad loved live music. He went when he was younger. He's like, yeah, no. He was like, the original members like weren't playing by the time I was old enough to go to shows. Like, this is the first time I'm seeing Black Sabbath, let alone the original group performing. And I could tell, like, in that moment, that even though we were the kids that were having the best time and this was a new experience to us, that shit meant more to him than it did to us, because that was like a lifelong type of thing for him. And it just made me think about stuff like that. And that's why I got kind of emotional, because I was like, I thought about me getting to share that moment and those moments with him and stuff like that. But I also thought about like how important that moment probably was in his life, getting to see an iconic, a hero of yours for the first time later on in life. I've had fortune that all my favorite bands, all things that I saw them, in my late teens and early 20s when I was going to shows and hanging out with my friends all the time and living that life and stuff like that. Like, that, for him to see it later on and in that moment with his kid and his kid's friends, and that had to be a badass moment. And it made me just think of him more, which is why I got emotional about it. Yeah, I'm not scared to admit that I cry. I cry at fucking commercials, Drew. I cry at commercials, and not the commercials you think I would cry. Like, obviously, like a sad animal commercial, you're gonna cry. Oh, unless you're heartless, unless you're a heartless whatever, you're gonna cry. Like, I cry at like car commercials sometimes. Like, if anything shows any sort of emotion in it, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm out of here. But anyway, yeah. So Ozzy Osbourne, absolute legend. Party time. All right. So, where do you want to start?
I'll say,
go ahead. No, we can keep going.
Yeah, just to put the cap on that. It has been very interesting to see, a lot of people talking about it, because I'm just not. Yeah, you're a softie. You're a big softie, as Ophelia said. Which is fine. It's fine to be a softie. Yeah, it's nice to see everybody, talking about this, because I know that metal bands and, heavy bands of classic rock and all that stuff are always seen very highly and held in high regard from the 80s, 70s, and the 80s, and the rock crave of always back then, just having a lot of concerts and people traveling to see bands. I know Deadheads who did that.
Deadheads still go, because John Mayer is kind of the guy now that does, he's kind of in the Grateful Dead now. So people go see the Deadheads all the time. Yeah. I mean, live music, there's nothing like live music, man. There's just not the way. And I obviously post COVID, I don't go to as many concerts as I did. It's more so that, and it's not even because I think I went so long with not going to these things that it just hasn't triggered in my brain to like get back to going to these things. But there is nothing like live music. Just the way it makes you feel when you're there, the camaraderie you have with everybody that's there. You're all there to see the same thing and have the same experience and enjoy those few hours. And there's nothing quite like live music. There really is.
I've only been to one concert ever.
Oh, you got to go to more. Oh, what's the one? Uh-oh.
Okay, so let me just preface it by saying,
Oh boy.
I was. This was back in, I think, early 2001. So I was only 10
Oh,
years
so
old.
let me get Britney Spears. Is it going to be
No,
like the boy bandish era?
nope.
Okay.
I
Now,
mean, it
did
wasn't
one
in the
of
boy band era, but it was the
yeah,
boy band that I
but
went to
did
see.
one of your parents drag you to see some old guy? Like,
It
did you go
wasn't
see
an
like
old guy, but it
okay,
was because of my mom.
okay, Elton John,
No,
Billy Joel?
no.
Damn,
You're never gonna get it. Probably.
Barry
I would.
Manilow.
No.
Damn it. All right, you go.
Enrique Iglesias.
Oh, will you be my hero?
Yeah.
Will you be my hero? Bailamos. Let the rhythm take you over. Bailamos, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's
Uh,
Bailamos, but he says Bailamos, and that's what I'm saying.
so yeah, my mom won tickets
Oh,
on
she won
a
them.
yeah
Oh,
from Z100 radio station.
wow. Does
Called
that
up. She
radio
got
station still exist?
yes, it does.
Wow.
Elvis
Okay.
Duran still doing
Fair
it.
enough. Good for him.
Um, yeah. Her question, the question that she had to answer was name 3 days that end in day. Oh, not 3 days. Not that they end in day, but just name 3 days that are not days of the week.
Name 3 days that are not days of the week.
Yes.
So could you name holidays? Like, did
Not
that
not.
count?
It's just three day. I don't remember the full question, but it had something to do with that. And the answer was yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Oh, get it. Yeah. Okay.
And she won. So we had really decent tickets to that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want them through
And
a radio station, they're not going to give you nosebleeds. They're
yeah,
going to give you something nice.
and yeah, it was fun though. I mean, he was big back then in
Oh yeah.
2000, early
Oh yeah.
2000s.
Oh yeah.
So, I wonder what he's been up to lately. It's been a
I
long
think he
time.
still does it. I think he's still making music. I'm pretty
Does
sure.
he?
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Wow.
yeah, but that's the
Enrique
only concert I've
Iglesias.
ever been to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have a few. I went to concerts all the time. Like, I've been to hundreds. But I would say Ozzy is up there. I was able to see David Bowie live.
Oh,
So that's another one that I tell people that, and they're like, "Oh shit,
I
you
would
saw
have liked to see
Bowie?" I'm like,
Meatloaf live.
"Fair, fair. Yeah, he probably put on a good performance. Probably put on a good performance."
I've
Um,
seen a lot of like older documentaries of him putting on shows, and he just
mhm.
put hell of a performance into it.
Oh yeah,
So that
oh
would have
yeah,
been nice.
yeah. But yeah, man, there's nothing quite like live music, and just when you lose someone, and it's weird because, and this is probably just my age, but I feel like over the next 10 to 15, 20 years, we're like when we were growing, and I feel like celebrity is just looked at differently. But I feel like when we were growing up, like the core, like the foundational celebrities, when I was like, they were just revered a different way than I think celebrities are revered now. So
Mm.
when people like Ozzy Osbourne pass away, when Michael Jack, when Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, all these people, they feel like they were foundational people of a
Mm.
society, of like American society, even though Ozzy's English, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
American pop culture, they feel like they were like foundational people. And like they're obviously supremely like Taylor Swift is as popular a musician as you will find nowadays. You know what I mean? Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Adele. You have these people that are incredible and incredibly popular. But I don't know. And maybe it's just because I am 40 and I'm not 20, like the people that are like super, you know what I mean? But like, I just feel like, are there people nowadays that we're going to have the same, there's going to be the same reaction 50 years from now when they go that there was for like Ozzy, where it was like that happened and all day, everyone from everywhere was like, holy shit, Ozzy Osbourne, like holy crap, like that's a big deal. Like that's like an earth stopping name, you know?
Mm.
Like I think about it with like the young stars of today, and I'm like, is anybody already there, or is anybody ever going to reach that level? Because to me, it doesn't seem that way. Now, again, I am older. I'm not in the height of their fandom or anything, but I just, you know what I mean? Like, what happens when Mick Jagger passes away? You know? Like, that is like
there's going to be, I feel like every generation is always going to have at least one big name. Like Taylor Swift is going to be Taylor Swift, and even there are more. There's more than one big name right now of the younger generation. So you just mentioned a couple of them.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Adele, Sabrina Carpenter. I mean, these are people who have like really like loyal fan bases.
Yeah, but but here's the thing. Black Sabbath had a loyal fan base as well. But outside of that fan base, everybody still knew and kind of respected Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not sure people are like that when it comes to Taylor Swift.
Okay. Well,
you know what I'm saying? I mean it that
Right.
way. I'm not talking about anything to do with their songs, their talent. I'm not talking about anything like that.
And I think that's also because a lot of the culture has changed now too, to where
I just think
cool
they're
to hate.
Yeah.
You know, you have to hate something now more than like it for some people, because
maybe
what gets engagement. That's, you know, we see that in wrestling. We definitely see that in wrestling. The more engaging you are, you get more engagement from hating than liking something. So it's just become like a popular thing to do in culture now, is to have hate.
And then I think Ophelia says that here. She goes, I'm waiting to see if any current people will have a 50+ year. I think that's also part of it. Is
Beyonce,
I feel like but she needs to go for another 25 years.
No.
Yeah. Destiny's Child was
Destiny's Child was in the mid 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s at best. They were not mid 90s. I would say 97, 98, maybe. I feel like Destiny's Child was right after the boy. Like they came along right after the height of like Britney, Christina, Backstreet Boys. I'm gonna guess Destiny's Child was, if I had to guess, I'd say 2001.
98.
Okay, fair.
That was their first album was 98.
All right, so Beyonce as a musical artist is approaching 30 years. So she would need to perform and be at this level for 20 more years. Do we think, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. This passing of Ozzy has just made me think of things that way, of like, are there any artists like that anymore? That like
Mariah Carey started in 1990.
She's dipped though. She's dipped too much to be. She has not, besides Christmas time, she is not relevant whatsoever anymore. Sorry, I'm being truthful.
Oh, I hope Washington isn't listening to this.
I'm being truthful, but besides Christmas time, when do you really hear anything involving Mariah Carey? She had some bangers, bro. You want to play One Sweet Day? I'll get down. I'll get down to one. Fantasy? Banger, dude. Like she had, but like besides Christmas time, we don't talk about Mariah Carey ever. She's not talked about besides Christmas time. And most of the time, it's like you said, it's 75% of the people going, God damn this fucking song. We got to hear this shit 1,000 times over the next month. Yeah, it's a great song, but like it's not, I just think, but yes, Mariah Carey in her height of the 90s, most number one hits of any musical artist of all time. That might change. That might have changed by now. I don't know. Mariah, that might be a newer person that has it now, just because of the way everything is digested is differently now. But it's just different. It's just different. Ozzy Osbourne hasn't been relevant in over a decade because of what, him getting older and his disease. Like he hasn't been relevant in over a decade, but the second that news broke, it was like, holy shit. I saw everybody on my timeline of all backgrounds, of all shapes, all sizes, all whatever. Everybody was like, oh my God, what? Ozzy?
Yeah.
Like who, besides those level of people, like who today? Now, again, I'm not talking about a younger person past. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying like who today would have that type of reaction? And I'm so, even the highest of highs, I don't think they would.
I mean,
if it's a different thing to me.
If Taylor Swift were to happen to,
but she's young, so there'd be a different layer to it. Her life was not complete.
So you're just saying, like, who today would get a major who else today would get a major reaction like him?
I just don't think that. And again, I think it's just part of society. I just don't think we view people as legends like that anymore.
Elton John.
As a society. Elton John, but he is of that era, though. 1000% when Elton John passes away, he will get what Ozzy got, and because he is a legend like that. Mick Jagger, Madonna, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen. Like there are still a handful to probably a dozen of those people that when they Jack Nicholson, it doesn't have to just be music. Jack Nicholson, like think about those people, that level of people. Michael Jordan, he's still young, but you know what I mean. Like when Michael Jordan passes away, that is going to be like, holy shit, that's maybe the greatest athlete of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking current people. And again, it's part of society, and it's how society grows, and it's how things happen. And again, things are just the younger generation just digests things differently. When I'm 40 years old. When I was a teenager, I didn't have social media. I didn't have really the internet until I was becoming an adult.
Right. And kids, really 1-year-olds have the internet now.
That's what I'm saying. So like things were just digested differently. If I wanted to hear Black Sabbath, I had to go turn on a fucking radio or go to Newbury Comics or whatever and buy a CD or a record or a cassette. There wasn't a thing I could pop open on my phone and be like, oh, this new song came out. And in the first 2 hours, it has 3 million fucking listens because everybody.
I'm like right at the end. I'm like right at the end of that era of before the internet boom really blew up. That was I'm still of the times of the rolling cart TV and VCR in school and no computers in the just one computer lab in the whole school that everyone had to fight for pretty much.
Yeah. Again, like
I didn't have a computer in my bedroom when I was a kid.
Brother, I was writing my book reports until I was in high school. Handwritten book reports. But this ended up going over a half hour talking about this, but I could talk about this stuff because and again,
I'd rather talk about this than wrestling.
Well, especially this week, because I thought these shows weren't bad shows, but nothing fucking happened. But I could, and it probably is my age, and I understand that it probably is my age. Clearly, I'm not in the know of what the 20-year-olds digging. You know what I mean? Like clearly, so. I know what's popular. I see what's popular. I know Sabrina Carpenter is huge. I know, Dua Lipa. Like I know the popular people, but I don't know the gravitas of the popular people because I'm not in that shit. So I don't know. But it feels like to me, it just made me think of that for some reason. I don't know why my brain went there with the Aussie passing, but I was like, yeah, they don't really make them like that anymore. Or at least they're not really. And again, a whole part of that society is I don't think we view celebrities the same way because back then, if you heard bad stuff about people, it was just kind of like, oh, yeah, all right, whatever. Or you didn't hear the bad stuff about people. Yeah. And now you hear the bad stuff about people, and we're a lot quicker to be like, oh, you said one. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but like, oh, you did a thing. Oh, you said a thing. You're dead to me. We don't like you anymore. Fucking gone. See you later. And I don't know if that's part of it too, is that aspect of how we view. I just don't know. I was like, man, we're going to lose some foundational people here over the last little bit.
The other thing too is that I think more people nowadays are more playing to their audiences more than
that's true.
Trying to become a complete and well-rounded pop or whatever star to be as well known as an Aussie or Michael Jackson, or
Yeah.
because I work in the school, so I with kids, and I know
Yeah.
a lot. There's these people that they're really like interested in, right? Like they're interested in Megan Thee Stallion right now. They're interested in Playboy Cardi. They're interested in Lil Uzi Vert. They're interested in Tyler the Creator.
Oh,
They're
I like
interested
Tyler the
in
Creator. Tyler the Creator is.
he's good,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's even like I would say even a
He's.
step above the other
I.
people that I
I would say the
listed.
other people that you just mentioned. I would say Tyler Creator is a level above. I would say for me.
They're listening to Travis Scott as much as we hate him in the wrestling world.
Yeah, we just ruined a whole WrestleMania doodle. So that's fine. Totally cool.
And I feel like those types of names that I mentioned, those young rappers and R&B artists, are more like playing to the younger generation.
Yeah,
I
and
don't see
yeah.
them ever stepping
No.
into a lane of like trying to get a 40-year-old to their concerts,
No, no. And just to me, like, no offense to the fella. He might be a great guy. I don't know. But I think 50 years from now, I don't think the world is going to stop when little Uzi Vert passes. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Anyway, god damn, dude, little Uzi Vert. You mean not Lil Baby or Little Yachty or Little Kari or Little Trucky?
I
Or
mean,
little
two of those names
fucking
that you mentioned are real.
Hatchbacky.
So,
I don't know what the fuck they call themselves. I don't know. Whatever.
Lil
Dude.
Baby and Lil Yachty are actually.
Yes, I know. That's why I threw the real names in there, so it didn't. I went with the joke. I went with the joke. But yeah, no. But anyway, all right. Well, that was the music 36-minute. For
And that was the
Drew
show,
and us.
everybody.
Yeah,
Take
see
care.
you
We'll
later.
see you next
Not much
Thursday.
to talk about wrestling wise. We just want to talk about Ozzy Osbourne and music and the state of celebrity. And yeah, we're gonna get on up out of here. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Next week obviously will be a SummerSlam preview. For the most part, we already have 9 matches confirmed for SummerSlam, and the card. Listen, we're going to talk about WWE here, and I have a bone to pick with them about a few of the things that are going on from a booking standpoint. However, with that being said, the card for SummerSlam, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good card. 8 of those 9 matches are matches that I am looking forward to. So I'm sure you could guess which one I'm not. I don't give a fuck about Jelly Roll. So yeah, I'm going to be very upset when that match is probably fun and I have to come on here and say I enjoyed it. It's going to really bother me. But either way, Scott, wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate it.
I'm
Wouldn't hate
totally
it.
fine with that.
I don't think we necessarily have to go beat for beat when it comes to the WWE side of things. Oh, you know what's crazy enough is I think the biggest news story of the wrestling week had nothing to do with AEW or WWE. I think it was the TNA stuff from Slammiversary.
Oh God, please. No.
I think that was no. But I think honestly, in the wrestling world, the biggest most newsworthy talked about stuff of this week was from it had nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with anything WWE did. Well, kind of with TNA, but I don't think it had anything to do. Again, I thought Dynamite last night was a pretty solid show. I love the Hangman stuff, which we'll dive into. I thought Dynamite was a good show. I thought Raw was a solid show. I didn't think it was a bad show by any means. But let's start here. Are we supposed to be okay with the fact that Roman Reigns was a piece of shit for 4 years now?
Yes, apparently.
Is that we're supposed to totally be okay with the fact that he was an absolute piece of shit?
He is never going to apologize for a single thing that he did to anyone, and everyone's just going to come and help him. That's just what's going to end up happening.
Well, we already knew that was happening. You can find episodes for months of Drew and I bitching about that on this very show. If you want to go back in the archives. They had this segment at the end of Raw, and don't get me wrong, parts of it I liked. The teases of Braun Breaker and Roman, please, all day, dude. That should be Roman's WrestleMania.
That could have just been fine on its own.
That should be Roman's WrestleMania match, if you want my honest opinion. As of this telling right now, I feel like Roman versus Braun, spear versus spear, that should be the WrestleMania match. for Roman. They're probably going to do it beforehand because I don't think they'll wait that long, but I feel like that should be the WrestleMania match. But anyway.
Could have just
So
been
they do
SummerSlam.
they do this thing where Heyman comes out, Roman interrupts, and Heyman is trying to talk to Roman and being like, hey, you know, when you and I worked together before, went pretty well. Went pretty well. You were the champion before, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then okay. So then Roman goes, hey, dumb, you know, he's calling him dumbass. He's calling him dumbass now instead of wise man, dumbass. So he goes, hey, dumbass. He goes, that had nothing to do with you. You weren't the reason why I held on to the title that long. He goes, he goes, Jay, Jimmy, hell, even Sammy, my original bloodline were the reasons that I held on to that belt so long because we were so good and we were so dominant. And I'm sitting here going, you cheated every fucking match. You did not win one match in that whole stretch by yourself. Not one. For 4 years. And now you're turning that around as if like that was a no, like you're the good. How does that make sense?
Meanwhile, one of those very pivotal matches was helped directly by Paul Heyman when he faced Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Oh, 100%. But to me,
conveniently glossing over that.
Yeah, but to me, I'm sitting here and I'm going, I understand where you're, because Roman's the good guy now. I get that, and I get him saying,
"Is he though?"
No, I've been saying this since day one. Since that guy came back as a babyface, he has not apologized. He hasn't even apologized to his family about the shit he did.
He doesn't even need to.
If you don't want to apologize to me, that's fine. I don't fucking matter. You're not going to apologize to Jay? To Jay. What are you talking about? And so I'm just sitting here and I'm like, so all of a sudden now you want the fan base? All of a sudden now you want the fan base to think that what you were doing with the bloodline was like a cool, good thing? It made no, I couldn't believe it.
Here's the thing though. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because of the pop that he gets.
Oh yeah, of course.
Music plays.
Of course.
It's like he is like a in their peak rock stone cold babyface right now because of how the pops that he gets.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's WWE sees and hears that and then goes, well, that's a pure babyface to us. Nobody has any problems with him now.
No. Coming from that angle, I was just like, all right, so you want us to like praise you now? Because it just felt very off to me. I was like, I don't understand that whatsoever. But again, the other stuff in that promo, him kind of looking over at Bron a few times and being like, yeah, take a step back there, buddy. Why don't you pipe down? Why don't you stop looking at me like that? And Bron kind of being like, I want to fucking kill you. Like that stuff I was way into. I was like, okay, yeah, like this is what I want. But just that whole, it was very bizarre. It was very, very bizarre.
You know, the thing about I see people refer to on Twitter the Seth Riders. The thing about the Seth Riders is that immediately, your microphone, you're muted.
Somehow. Oh, whoops! I said we're going to talk about Seth. I want to dive into Seth a little deeper next, but do your go.
Yeah. That whole group already feels like they don't give a shit about Seth Rollins.
Very on purpose. Very on purpose.
Bron Breakker is acting like he's the star of the group. And
I mean, he's going. Yeah, I think.
Which I mean, he
that's going to be the plan, right? That he's going to be the yeah,
because everything that Punk and Roman have said is going to end up coming true. Paul Heyman is 100% going to turn on Seth at some point
and go with Bron.
And then Bronson Reed is holding the Money in the Bank briefcase like it's his.
Yeah.
Like he's like standing there, like holding it, like, yeah, I'm the money. Like, why are you holding it like that?
Yeah.
It should just be a briefcase that you hold on your side. It shouldn't be something that you are like raising as if you're like when on Monday, Paul Heyman is addressing him and he's raising the briefcase like it's his. Like, what are you doing? That's not yours.
Yeah.
So Seth should be looking at all that and going, oh, maybe what they were saying is true.
Well, okay. So Seth got hurt at Saturday night's main event, right?
And I think it's legit.
Oh, I have 100% flipped, and I do not.
You don't think so?
Nope. I've been watching wrestling for 30 years, Drew. When someone all right, we're gonna take an example right now because we have two major people that are injured in WWE. We have Liv Morgan and Seth Rollins. Okay, Liv Morgan got hurt, legitimately hurt. They still talk about her, like they mention her on commentary. Judgment Day still references her. Have we seen any vignettes about Liv Morgan since she's been hurt? Any vignettes at all? Okay. Do they really, really talk about Liv Morgan a ton since she's gotten hurt? A ton.
Well, whenever the Judgment Day segment.
Okay, but besides that?
No, not really.
Okay. I've been watching wrestling for 30 years, and when someone is really hurt, they do not talk about these people. They are out of sight, out of mind. You are at home and you are rehabbing, you are healing. You don't see vignettes. You don't see them being talked about as much until they are close to returning. Seth Rollins has been mentioned non-stop since he's been hurt. This Becky videos online with Seth, that is 2 on the nose for me, man. Seth is cashing in at SummerSlam 1,000%. I have completely flipped 180. He is hurt, and they're giving him time off to heal up some nagging injuries. I do not think
there's not enough time to do that, though. He's only 2 weeks away, SummerSlam.
Yeah, but by the time we see him, he would have over 3.5 weeks off to rest up any, like, I fully believe the Brian Alvarez report now, where he said Seth is banged up. They're going to give him a little bit of time off, but he's not as banged up as they're making it seem. The fact that they showed 2 separate vignettes on Raw about Seth Rollins. 2. This past Raw. 2 different vignettes about him. Paul Heyman in that promo with Roman made it a point to say Seth Rollins is not coming back for a very long time. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. If he was really hurt and really going to be out for months and months and months and months, they would still mention him on the show occasionally, like they do Liv Morgan. They would not be talking about him as much as they are talking about him. He's been on the Rich Eisen show. He's in the focus. Him and the videos that Becky's putting online.
I think he was already scheduled to do that.
He was, but the videos that Becky is putting online, it's not like they're just showing him laying down on the couch with his knee up wrapped and he's like playing with their kid. No, he's like walking around on crutches and like openly blah, blah, blah. I'm calling bullshit. I gave them the benefit of the doubt because I will always give injuries the benefit of the doubt when they first happen. I thought it was legitimate. Since then, and since what I've seen, I'm calling bullshit. He's cashing in on CM Punk at SummerSlam. 100%. That's where I am. I am confident that that's what's happening. I do not think it's legit anymore. I was with you, and I thought it was legit. After Monday, it started creeping into my brain over the weekend. When I saw the Becky videos, I was like, they are going 2 on the nose with this for me. And then the way that he was treated up, they talked about him more than they talked about people who were on the actual fucking show on Monday.
I just don't know what is the point of.
To make you think that he's not going to be around. He's going to be out for a very long time. All right, well, Seth is out for a very long time. What? Seth is here at SummerSlam? Oh my God, he's the world champion. What the fuck? I thought he was going to be out for a long. That's why. No. because people,
Yeah,
not
some
like
idiot
you and
is
me,
going to fall for that.
some thousands. Most people are simpletons. True.
The pop will be, it's all for the pop.
Most
and the
people
moment
are
and all the bullshit,
simpletons.
whatever.
That is just what it is. So I have fully flipped.
Oh, the pop and the bullshit in the moment. That's what NXT was.
I mean, well, it makes sense.
That's
It
what
makes sense.
WWE.
But it makes sense. Well, first of all, you don't watch NXT, so don't judge it. Like, I understand what promo you're talking about. The NXT show on Tuesday was great, as they normally are.
Oh, fuck that. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
What?
Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
What?
That show is so crap. Sorry, Sandy.
NXT?
That show is so crap.
Again, but you don't watch NXT.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I don't watch it.
Because they did one 15-minute promo with The Undertaker?
No.
Yeah?
It's not even just about The Undertaker.
Then what's it about? But you don't watch the show, so you can't judge. At all. I watch the show weekly. It's literally the best show WWE offers.
It's not.
But it is, though.
But you don't
watch the show. You can't say that because you don't watch the show. Yes, you do.
I'm on Twitter. I see.
Okay. Yeah, Twitter. That's the real good place for information, Drew. Twitter.
There are dozens of accounts that just live tweet the fucking thing. I don't have to watch it. I could just read. They post 30-second clips of promos.
That would be like you. That would be like you. That would be like you saying, "Hey, Joe, did you see the movie Wicked?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it sucked." And you'd be like, "Oh, you saw it?" And I go, "No, I just know it sucked. I just know it sucked."
But that's not the same.
Yes, it is. That is exactly what you're doing.
It is not the same.
Yes, it is. 1,000%.
You're not on Wicked Twitter, seeing a bunch of fucking tweets about it every hour.
You do not watch dude. Anybody can take, dude. The Undertaker promo with Trick Williams, it sucked. I openly will admit that it sucked. It was stupid. But the rest of the show was a good wrestling show. Besides that 10-minute promo. That was stupid. It was unnecessary.
Okay, what about Santina Marella and Ethan Page?
What about it? I thought Ethan Page was cutting a wonderful heel promo, turning the North American title into the Canadian title and getting major heat. And Santino Marella, who works for TNA with a business arrangement, came out to interrupt him. And he was funny and Santino. Do I care about the match happening next week? Not really. But I love Ethan Page. And I have no problem with Santino.
So TNA got mauled by NXT, and both of their titles are on NXT people.
Yes.
And one TNA person shows up on Tuesday to not even address any of that.
Well, I think there's a greater story happening there's going to be an invasion angle-ish that will lead to.
You keep believing that.
Look. Yeah, listen. And again, you can tell me, I was not a proponent of what happened at TNA Slammiversary. I knew JC Jane was going to win. But I thought that Mike Santana should have won the TNA heavyweight title. And I think it was a mistake in the long run for Mike Santana to not win the TNA title at that show in New York in front of his people. But with that being said, they just had the largest gate they've ever had in nearly 30 years of business. And as much as diehard TNA people want to cry about it, the reason why that happened is because you're working with WWE. Sorry. Hate to tell you. You wouldn't have got that gate if you never had the arrangement with NXT and WWE. That's just a fact. So you can't pick and fucking choose what you want to celebrate and what you don't want to celebrate. Do I think it was a bad decision to have both heavyweight championships be on WWE people? Yes, I do. And for those diehard TNA fans, I 1,000% agree and understand why they do not like that. However, you can't be upset about that and then also celebrate that you had the largest gate ever, because without that, that wouldn't have happened. You cannot pick and choose. So I think that's where I'm at. Now, I am not a regular every week TNA watcher, so I enjoyed Slammiversary. Again, I would have given the title to Mike Santana. And I thought that in the moment, I thought that was a mistake. I would have given the title to Mike Santana. And I thought that you did a disservice to your diehard TNA fans in that moment. The JC Jane thing, I completely understand. I expected her to win. If you didn't, that's on you. That's on you. I did not expect Trick Williams to win. At Slammiversary, which is your WrestleMania, the belt should have went to Mike Santana. You were in New York. There were a lot of people there to specifically see that guy and to specifically see that guy win the TNA title and bring it back to TNA at their WrestleMania. That's what they should have done. So I completely understand the bitching and moaning when it comes to that. And I'm on board with them. I'm actually on their side when it comes to that. But again, you can't be so angry and shit on everything and all this stuff, but then also be like, TNA's awesome. We had the largest gate ever. Yeah, you had the largest gate ever because of your partnership. And because your world champion at the time was on WrestleMania this year. And because NXT people show up out of nowhere on your shows. That is part of the reason why you got that gate. AJ Styles
I don't actually think Joe Hendry played any role in that whatsoever.
Okay, but again, you're a hater. But AJ Styles showing up. Everyone knew AJ Styles was going to be there. That was a major reason why so many people showed up. Without the partnership with WWE, AJ Styles ain't showing up. Now, does TNA put on a good wrestling product? They do. I get all their pay-per-views. They're really good. And they're better than ever, in my opinion. Roster-wise, wrestling-wise, they are. And again, like I said, I am on the diehard TNA fan side of how this looks. It's not a good look. But they're angry at WWE when they should be angry at the guy running their shows. Because if the guy running their shows really didn't want it to happen, he could have said no. He could have said no. And he didn't, because he knows that's good for business. Even though it might not feel great, it's good for business. Because this will eventually, at least I hope so. If not, then that's a whole nother argument when we get there. But for now, it seems like this is going to lead to a greater payoff, where there is going to be some sort of invasion angle. I wouldn't be shocked if at some point we get a co-branded TNA NXT PLE. And I think that would be a really, really good thing for TNA. A really good thing. So again, you
WWE is buying them.
You can't, most likely WWE will end up purchasing it, if I had to guess. But at the same time, which
won't be good for TNA, but
maybe not. But again, I just feel like you can't celebrate certain things that are directly because of one thing, but then hate on the one thing because you didn't like a decision about fake pro wrestling. TNA's growing. I've been with TNA for years. I'm a huge fan. Woo! Largest gate ever. Man, we're growing. Oh, no, the WWE's ruining it. Are they? Because without them, that doesn't happen. So this is cool, and TNA rules for this, but you didn't like that, so WWE's bad, even though TNA wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for WWE.
Some people would think that WWE doesn't really help them that much.
And I would say that they just had their largest gate of all time. Been around for 30 years, the company. 30 years. I could see that happening, Sandy. They've been around for 30 years, the company. And they just had their largest gate ever. You don't think that the partnership with WWE had anything to do with that?
I'm not saying that WWE hasn't played a role in that. I'm sure,
of course,
it has
100%.
But we're getting too businessy for this, and that I don't like that. So I'm turned off by this conversation. I just want to.
I know, but I get, and that's fine.
I'm not here to celebrate the business of any wrestling company. I'm here to celebrate what the fans like. So.
I don't care about that either. But when you have people that are celebrating one thing but really shitting on another, when they both have to do with the same thing, that does not make sense.
WWE doesn't give a shit about TNA.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's been
they're doing nothing to act. This is not to help TNA. This is to help WWE. This has nothing to do with anything of TNA's business, of TNA's growth, of TNA's the potential media right thing that they're trying to get, that Eric Bischoff thinks they're going to be number 2 in a year. Yeah, right.
Well, that's I mean, Bischoff also said that AEW surpassing Nitro was a participation trophy.
Yeah, well, he's just a fucking. I don't even want to get into that. But the point is that the partnership here is to stifle AEW. It has nothing to do with TNA. If you think that it has to do with TNA and that WWE cares at in any realm of TNA growing as a business, you are brainwashed. They don't give a fuck about TNA.
I never said they did.
I'm not talking about you. I just mean in general.
Yeah, I never said they did, and I'm not one of those people that said they did. I just think it's very disingenuous for TNA fans to be celebrating certain things and shitting on certain things when they are completely intertwined with each other. So, it is what it is. Regardless of how you feel about it, the TNA World Championship was on motherfucking WrestleMania this year. If you don't think that has some exposure,
it did nothing for anybody.
Okay, but that's what people think. But again, I will say they just had their largest gate ever after 30 years in business. So I think it did something. I think it did something.
Pay-per-view after WrestleMania.
No, but I think it did something. That's all. That's all I'm saying. You can't look at me and say that TNA is having their most successful year. And again, I don't care about the business, but they are having their most successful year and a half, 2 years that they've ever had as a business. And it just so happens that during this time, they were in this business arrangement with WWE. If you think that has nothing to do with it, I don't know what to tell you, because that is factually incorrect. It's factually incorrect. Now, you can disagree with how the show went, because I do too. I think Mike Santana should be the TNA heavyweight champion right now. But you can't be angry at one thing but celebrate the other when it's all this. You sound like an idiot. Not you, but you sound like an idiot when you do that. Either way. So the Seth Rollins thing annoys me. Not annoys me. We're getting played. We're getting played here. We're getting another heist of the century. Punk is going to beat Gunther, I think. And Seth is going to cash in on Punk. That's where I'm at mentally. I think it's happening. They're just being the two on the nose, but you don't talk. When people are really injured, they don't talk about them, Drew. They don't. They are out of sight, out of mind. They are out of sight, out of mind. Especially if they're going to be gone for a long time. You don't really talk about them. Let alone give them vignettes.
Sure, whatever. I don't really care. Fine.
Do you care about anything we're going to talk about today, or could we just end the show?
There are things I care about.
Okay. Because the last couple of weeks, you're annoying me a bit. I love you, but you're annoying me. I want to talk with someone that actually acts like they want to be here. So,
I want to be here. Who said I don't want to be here?
Because you're shitting on everything. So, I'm just saying. Seth was a huge part of the show, Maria, and he shouldn't be, because he's supposedly going to be out until WrestleMania, according to him. On the Rich Eisen show, he said I'm going to be out for a while. I know my body. I'm going to be out for a while. I have WrestleMania in my sights. Okay. So we're showing 2 vignettes about you 3 days later? Give me a break. Obviously, we're continuing the Becky Lyra stuff. That has been wonderful. Bayley, okay. I think Bayley's going to turn. Bayley's turning, right? Bayley's up to something. I
don't know. I don't know if it. I mean, I think if she turns, it's not to align with Becky. It's just because Lyra has been a thorn in her side. I don't see her really aligning with Becky. I don't see any way right now, at least, that makes sense. But her and Lyra are definitely not friendly with each other anymore.
No,
So
not at all. I don't know. I feel like when was their first match? Backlash, right? Lyra and Becky.
yeah,
They had that first match at Backlash, then they had the rematch at Money in the Bank. Joe, I would not hate that if they went that route, but I don't know. I just think everything combined, I just feel like, I don't know. Unless they're doing this to make me think this way. You know what I mean? Like, unless they're doing this to make me think this way, and then it just doesn't happen, and they're actually like doing it as a way to make people think he's going to cash in, and then he doesn't, and it's like, oh shit, he really is injured, I guess, kind of thing.
that's even more stupid then.
I
Because
agree.
then everyone's going to
agree.
be like, all right, Punk won.
Yeah.
Where's like
Yes.
I was kind of waiting for MJF to cash in on Hangman after Hangman won. It'd be like, all right, is it happening? Like
Yeah.
it's taking away from the moment of the major win to then be like everyone's just like looking to the stage, like, all right, when's it happening? When's it happening? And then it doesn't happen. It's like, well, you didn't have to portray it this way to take me out of the moment. I could have just been celebrating CM Punk's win.
Yeah. 100%. I don't know. I
mean, and that's the thing with wrestling. I think with most wrestling these days is that you're watching with the caveat in the back of your mind of, all right, that person's coming out now, right? Like I feel like it's more a lot of wrestling now is, oh, this person's getting beat down, so the person who has the money in the bank or the person who has a contract, they're coming now, right? Like there's always like that thought in the back of your mind that somebody's coming out to do something, somebody's interfering, somebody's turning on someone. Like there's always like we've that's pretty much been our whole conversation so far. Oh, Bailey's turning, Seth's returning. Like it's always like the thing these days.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it feels like that's what those moments are, what kind of builds wrestling nowadays, is those type of things. So I don't know. I just felt like Bailey getting them the tag title match and saying, well, this is the match we should have had at WrestleMania that didn't happen. And Lyra kind of being like a smart ass and being like, oh, do you remember last week when I whooped your ass all over the ring? I was like,
she's so good. She is so good.
Incredible. And then the promo that she cut with Becky later, it's just, man, Lyra has, and we've talked about it here, but Lyra has really, this has gone exactly the way that I said it was going to go months ago. I said, this is going to be done where Becky's going to become the IC champion. Bailey's going to be involved. It's going to elevate the IC title to a title that actually means something and matters because you have Bailey and Becky fighting for it. And then you are going to make an even bigger star in Lyra when Lyra ends up winning the IC title back at the end of this. And SummerSlam to me feels like the end of this, where Lyra is going to win the title back from Becky at SummerSlam. The only way I could see that not happening is if Bailey were to turn and align with Becky somehow on Lyra. But I think Lyra,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think Lyra will win the title back at SummerSlam, just like I said would happen months and months ago. And then I think Lyra is an even bigger star, and that IC title is even more prestigious moving forward because they have done a great, and she's knocked it out of the park. She's done the work, but they have done a great job of elevating the title and elevating Lyra Valkyria in this. And she has taken the ball and she has sprinted with it. She is incredible. She is incredible. Yeah, Fernando, we spent the whole first half hour talking about Aussie. That's why you need to show up on time. But you can go up and you can watch that after the show. We spent literally over the first 30 minutes talking about Aussie and just kind of celebrity and stuff like that. Couple things that I actually really enjoyed from Raw. Obviously the Becky Lyra stuff and the that stuff. I'm going to be honest with you, Drew. AJ Styles was fucking hilarious throughout Monday Night Raw. And I am loving the AJ Styles Dom situation. I love AJ doing the jobs the last couple of weeks, just showing up randomly. He was a janitor backstage haunting Dom. He's a valet driver to start the show because Dom is ducking trying to get cleared because he doesn't want to fight AJ. And AJ's just popping up. He's a CPR. He's giving him CPR as an EMT or whatever in the tag match with the ladies when Dom interfered and got knocked to the thing. And then we finally found out that Dom is cleared. He attacks AJ later on in the evening.
He was always cleared.
Yeah.
It was kind of dumb, but whatever.
And again, here we go. Negative Nancy over here. Just negative Nancy. You can't even have fun watching
what am I
shows. Oh, Ophelia? Me neither. Why don't we ask my co-host? But I don't get it either.
I didn't say I hated the AJ Styles segment.
Hilarious.
This was what was going to happen. So it was just like,
Drew,
okay.
It's pro wrestling. You're supposed to use your imagination sometimes, Drew. Like, I understand that can be hard, but it's pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling, man. Not everything has to be
fine. I didn't hate it. You're saying I hated it. I never said I hated it.
You just said it was dumb. Dumb was the word.
Dumb can be silly sometimes.
Yeah, it was. It was
just like silly, whatever.
Listen to Asian Joe. Listen to Asian Joe. It's wrestling, man. It's a fucking zombie character for 30 years. Come on. Come on. Am I wrong?
So, Cody and John Cena.
No, we're not there yet. That's a whole nother fucking issue. We'll get there.
Suspend your belief.
Well,
Joe.
That's a contract.
Suspend your belief.
I can't suspend my belief, and my belief tells me that contract should not stick in a court of law. Should it not? That contract should not stick in a court of law.
There's a signature on that contract.
But it was not a John Cena signature.
From John Cena's hand.
Yeah, something tells me. Okay, can I actually tell you though? Because I saw some people. So after this little contract signing, where Cena is trying to duck out of the match, and Cody obviously is like, "No, you're not ducking out of it." And Cody got violent with it and stuff like that. And I saw people online after this segment saying that, "Oh, this is the start of the heel turn for Cody. It's the start of the heel turn." And I'm sitting there going, what? Are people out there thinking that this was John Cena being a shit heel trying to weasel his way out of a match? No? Isn't that pretty common knowledge here? That's what was going on here? Was Cena not wanting to fight Cody and trying to weasel his way out?
There was a moment in this promo. And it's what the tweet and the thing that you're talking about, and people are like shitting on the person for mentioning it, but I don't think that they were wrong in thinking this and putting it out there. There's a moment in the promo where all of a sudden a split screen happens.
Yeah, and it was like a faded one. It was weird. It's like a faded split screen.
Yeah, like something that they've never done before.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what's going on here? What is this about? This random. And it was when John Cena is emphatically just like announcing like that it's been a lot for him and it's been stressful and he's got this movie and he's wrestling. And then the opposite end of that is just Cody with this mean mug and this like angry face. And it just made me go like, what's going on that they do this at this exact moment? Why is there was never a need for a split screen in any promo segment? But this feels like pointed for a reason. Like this is on purpose. Why are they doing this?
Well, I mean, I have been pretty adamant. I've been pretty adamant that I think a double turn is happening in the match. I still think, right, as of this moment right now, I still think that a double turn is very possible in this match. I do. I could see Cody winning that title now again, Cody is very over, so I'm not saying that. And again, I don't want to talk about the business side, but I do feel like that would not be probably the best business decision because Cody is so over.
I don't agree with you there. I think
turn him heel?
I think it might even be a better business decision.
I'm not against it either. However, I as of this moment, I still think that a double turn could very much happen in this match at SummerSlam. I just thought coming out of that promo, that was nothing more than a shit heel trying to weasel his way out of a match that he knows he's going to lose.
Okay, so here's the thing. For me, when I'm watching this, what John does in a lot of his promos is when he's acting like a heel, he kind of makes it a point to overact a little bit. You know, like he's a little bit more expressive and he wasn't doing that in this promo. And what the reason why when the split screen happened, I was like, okay, so you know, John was coming off a little sincere to me. And also the funny, it was a little bit of funny timing too, because just last week there was that big story about Pat McAfee having to take time away.
Yeah. Yeah.
For almost literally what Cena was talking about.
Burnout. Yeah, burnout. Yeah.
So that was a little strange also, because obviously that I'm assuming that wasn't a planned thing.
No, I don't think so.
John does legitimately have a movie, and it just felt, that promo didn't feel like a heel, to me at least. It didn't feel like a heel weaseling out of a match. It felt like that to you?
Yeah, he's the world champion that's going against a guy that he had to cheat to win, to get the title from, who he knows is angry, wants his revenge, and he was like, I got too much going on. I can't do this match in a couple weeks. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he was being weaselly in the promo, but I feel like, yeah, that was a heel trying to weasel out of this match because he knows he's going to lose.
Because he didn't even turn it into a surprise sneak attack.
No. Cody
just ran down the ramp and attacked him, and then he was attacking him because of that. So it wasn't nothing about that segment was a heel one-upping the babyface.
If you are backing out of a match, that is inherently heel. No matter what. Unless you're injured, if you are saying I can't do this match, I need to back out of this match, I can't do this match, that is inherently heel, no matter the scenario. You're being a puss. That's what that is. And that is a heel. That is heel to me. Now, did I think Cena portrayed it that he was coming off somewhat genuine? I do. But I also think that's John Cena just being great at what he does. So, but inherently, especially if you're the champion, this isn't John Cena going after the championship and saying, this is the world champion at SummerSlam saying, I got too much going on, guys. Mentally, I'm too much. I can't wrestle at SummerSlam. Inherently, that is a heel move. That is a heel move.
I mean, being the champion,
faces don't back out of matches.
He's also been he hasn't been like the heel that he was coming out of WrestleMania.
I agree.
Like he's kind of started.
It's a different, yes. He's clearly started the transition of slowly. We know he's going to turn babyface. I think, like I said, I think in this match it could even happen. And that I saw it exactly. Exactly. I saw it as Cena trying to weasel his way out of the match by grasping at excuses. A face champ would want to fight right here, right now.
Okay, but then Cody wasn't the babyface in the segment either. So who?
Well, I think that's where the blurred lines, much like that face-off, I think that's where the blurred lines come into play. Because Cody's reaction was not the reaction of a normal babyface. That's the reaction of a guy who is at his wit's end, who's like, fuck you, you're not getting out of this one. You're not getting out of this one. I owe you a comeuppance, and you're fucking getting it. And Cody reacted in not the most babyface way to do so.
Here's the other thing, too. John did not know that in the contract, the match became a street fight stipulation.
That is true. And obviously
Cody did that behind John's back.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not anti that, though, because you have to take into account, as terrible as the match was, you have to take into account how the end of that main event at WrestleMania happened. And that the end of that main event happened with interference, using the title to beat Cody. There was bullshit that happened that cost Cody that title. So Cody then making this a street fight to make it a fair, in his mind, make it a fair fight. You can throw whatever you want at me, John, now, but it's a street fight, so I can do whatever I need to do, weapons-wise, maybe people-wise. I think that was Cody trying to make it fair in his brain.
I don't disagree with you, but it's not the babyface thing to do.
One could
sneak a stipulation into a match. Babyfaces don't do that.
Well, it depends, though, because I think it's shades of gray. Either way you look at it. We saw in AEW, Hangman Adam Page was the babyface, and he asked for Texas Death.
He asked.
We'll talk about what happened on Dynamite, but he asked for another stipulation on a match we're getting next week. Hangman asked.
But he didn't. This is different, though.
But it's the same thing. It's the babyface asking for a stipulation.
But he didn't. Cody didn't ask for the stipulation. He didn't ask John written into the contract.
He didn't ask John for it. He had to get it approved by management. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the contract with it. He would have to go to
which management
and say, "Hey, I'm putting this in here. Is this okay? You signing off on this?" And they would say, "Yes." He can't just do that.
Which management did Cody get that signed off?
Could be The Rock. Who knows? We'll find out. Again, if you're asking me right now to tell you what I think is going to happen in this match, I do think we're getting a double turn.
I absolutely think that too.
And then I think Cena's going to go away for a little bit and go film that movie, and Cody's going to be the heel, and we're going to soak in with Cody being a heel, and then John's going to come back in a month, and for the last 3 months, he's going to be the top babyface on the men's side of the company on his way out. And I actually think now I am pretty positive that his last match at the Saturday Night's Main Event in Boston is going to be against Cody again. I think it's going to be him and Cody in the rubber match, and I think Cody's going to beat him. And then Cody will be the champ going into 2026, and Cena will give his farewell after the match, going out on his back, and he'll get his flowers and greatest of all time. And I that's how I feel. There are other people I would love that. I think Cena versus Gunther in his last match would be wonderful. There's other people that I think Cena could feud with that could turn him babyface other than Cody. But I think as of right now, I feel like that's the way it's going to go. I think we're going to see like a double turn of sorts, or at least Cody is going to do whatever it takes to win that title back. Whatever it takes, including maybe even siding with The Rock. And I think that Cena will go away. And when Cena comes back, he will be the babyface. And I think, that's kind of where I'm at now. That kind of feels like where this is going. Like, hey, John, this whole year, you're going to fight other guys, but this is going to be centered around you and Cody, because Cody is the next you. He's the current and the next you. So this is going to be, Yeah, Scott, I did see that the last match for Cena could be against Gunther. Would not hate that at all either. If it's not going to be Cody, I think Gunther is the next guy. It should be. I wouldn't hate a Braun Breaker or a younger guy too. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, that would be fun too. But I think
Carmelo Hayes would have been perfect because he's from Boston.
Yeah, well,
also.
He can't even get on TV, but yet we can make programs for fucking Jelly Roll. So cool. But that's another argument for another day. But yeah, that would be a good argument if Gunther was like, "Hey, I retired Goldberg and John Cena."
Both are Saturday night's main events.
Yeah, in the same calendar year. Like in the same year, I took care of both those guys. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I don't know. And I just thought in that moment, in that promo, I didn't think anything of what
apparently
was kind of
Goldberg suffered a broken hand in that retirement match.
Oh, it's happened before. It'll happen again. No biggie. Isn't that what he said about Charles Robinson, that piece of shit? He was asked because he broke Charles Robinson's rib on that spear. And he was asked about it in that interview. And I believe his response was, he'll be all right. It's happened before. It is what it is. No remorse. No apology. So, he broke his hand? Nah, it's happened before. He'll be all right. He's got time for it to heal. It's not like he's doing anything. He's retired now. So you get plenty of time for it to heal, Bill. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. As far as rounding out the rest of Raw, Sheamus and Rusev had another tremendous match, just beating the crap out of each other. Sheamus got the win, so they are tied at 1-1. So hopefully this continues. I would love a best of 5, a best of 7, whatever you want to do. Just have those guys on my TV every week.
Ain't doing anything with these two, so might as well just let it go on and on and on.
And they're like best friends in real life too, and you can see that chemistry where they're in the ring, like they beat the crap out of each other, and I am here for it. Excellent. Karrion Kross got a big victory over Sami Zayn. They fought on Raw. He used the lead pipe. He hit Sami in the bad ribs when the ref wasn't looking because Scarlett was distracting, and Karrion Kross got a big solo win on Raw. So they are also tied at 1-1. Would not hate some sort of stipulation match being added to SummerSlam to kind of end this feud between these two. Wouldn't hate Karrion Kross going over in it either. And then we got a little tease. We got Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer again, which was wonderful. And like the first time, which ended like the first time, because they are very much teasing that we're going to find this proper, and we'll get a proper finish to this at some point. But until then, we're just going to tease you with it. But they had another great match that ended in DQ. And it seems like we might be heading towards. So right now, the rumor is we're going to get 14 matches for SummerSlam. So 7 and 7 each night. We have 9. I actually think there's 10 now because they officially made the Roman and Jay versus the Brawns. So there's officially 10. So that means there's room for 4 matches. It feels like one of those matches is going to be Stephanie Vaquer, Nikki Bella, and somebody else, or even Stephanie Vaquer and the Bellas potentially against Chelsea Green and the Hervis, the Secret Hervis. I think that'll be a fun little 6-woman tag. Because I don't see a way that Stephanie Vaquer is not going to be on SummerSlam, especially with her having the title match in Paris right after that. She is 100% going to be on SummerSlam, and Nikki Bella is 100% going to be on SummerSlam. Nikki Bella's had some back and forth with Chelsea. We saw everything happen after the Vaquer-Io match with the Secret Hervis and Chelsea. I feel like that's probably what we're getting at some point at SummerSlam, some form of that to create a trio, so a 6-woman tag. And then the other matches, we'll see what's going on. I would like the SmackDown tag titles to be defended on SummerSlam because they usually don't defend them on SummerSlam, and they have like an actual good tag team division over there. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing Julia end up on the SummerSlam card defending her U.S. title because she's been actually vocal on social media saying it would literally break her heart if she wasn't on SummerSlam. So how about we fucking do that, please? But we'll see. We'll see where the other matches round up. But again, I thought this to me felt like
and then Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are suddenly
officially
not a team anymore.
After 2 years, we've been waiting for the inevitable breakup, and now Austin Theory, I think, is actually banged up and hurt. Like I think it's.
I don't know from what, because
I don't know.
I've not seen anything.
But I think they played it off as he's injured, so now they're just using the injury as the way to break them up. Okay. All right. So, and now it feels like, even though we've seen Grayson Waller messing around and like hanging out with the New Day, it feels like on Monday, the New Day were not about it.
They didn't give a shit about that.
They were not about it. And they were just like, what the fuck?
Get this guy away from us.
So we'll see how that goes and things like that. But yeah, that was basically Raw. Again, not a bad show of Raw, but very much hey, next week's the go-home show. Let's just kind of get to the go-home show. I thought the Gunther promo on CM Punk was excellent, though. I thought the Gunther promo on CM Punk is excellent. That opened the show. Punk came out and did his normal, It's great to be alive. I feel happy. Great to be alive here, blah, blah, blah. And he was talking about how he
Gunther came out and
ruined him.
I'm going to beat you and I'm going to humiliate you. And the segment was over.
Loved it. So. I think Gunther is so underrated on the mic. And let me tell you, fans.
But this was like a tame promo.
For him, but I thought it was still good. I thought I'm going to maul you.
There's still another week, too. They're probably going to amp it up on Monday.
The fans, guess what, guys? All right. WrestleMania was like 4 months ago. Gunther has won the world title back since then. Can we cut it with the "you tapped out" chance?
Oh, thank you for mentioning that.
Give it a fucking break. Like, who gives a shit?
I was watching that.
Do you know who else tapped out?
And I'm hearing, even at the end as he's walking out, they're still chanting, get some new material.
He's the champion again, guys. You think that do you know who else tapped out? Jey Uso, when he won the title back from him. So shut the fuck up. You guys chanting "you tapped out" to Jey Uso when he comes out? Oh, you're not? Okay. Dumb. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Yeah, I think that was basically all of Raw. How do you feel about this new Unreal show that's coming out?
Don't care.
Shocker. Are you like butthurt about it like some people? Like, you're gonna ruin wrestling, man. I just
don't care. I'm not watching.
People are acting that way.
There is nothing about the business that's protected anymore. So that's like, I am not one of those old heads that are like, oh, got to protect, kayfabe, and I don't give a shit about that. But I just don't care. I'm not going to watch it because it's another self-serving Triple H project. So.
All right, yeah, I think that was basically it. Anything else on SmackDown we didn't discuss? I know we had obviously the Cena. There was a tag team title match that happened that saw the Wyatts retain. Obviously the Cena Cody thing was the big thing coming out of that. But anything else on SmackDown that
Charlotte and Alexa are
going for the tag titles? I like it. I'm kind of in it. I kind of have bought in on it. You know me. I'm more pro. Yeah, Aleister Black and Damian Priest. I'm digging that little thing they're doing too. This was supposed to be a one-off, Drew. Well, first of all, the report came out yesterday. Yeah. That's the Unreal thing. Yeah, that's the Unreal. She's talking about the Unreal.
Oh, that's the Unreal thing. Okay.
Yeah, they're treating the Royal Rumble thing with speed. Like they're playing it off like it wasn't.
Oh, I show speed. I thought she was talking. Yes. I've read that as like the Speed Championship.
Oh no. What the fuck was I just talking about before we dove into that though? Oh, Charlotte and Alexa. The report came out that Charlotte and Alexa were actually supposed to feud. And then because of the Liv Morgan injury and the change that was needed in the tag team title picture for the women, they became a tag team, and they've gotten so over as a pairing that now I think at SummerSlam next week, they're going to win the fucking titles. I think they're going to win the titles.
It's possible. I don't know.
They're over, man. They're over. And
They
I think
may do the
Charlotte
turn
is
there.
Here's my thing, though. I almost feel like we're seeing a side of Charlotte that we haven't seen, and it's actually refreshing to the viewers. And I think Charlotte is actually getting over as a babyface for the first real time in her WWE career. And I don't know, even though we all know she will most likely turn heel just because of who she is, and she's clearly a better heel. I don't know if you want to do that right now, because I think you want to see with it, because I feel like she's actually getting over, and people are actually enjoying and liking Charlotte genuinely for the first time.
I don't have much terrible things to say about it, so it's winning me over, I guess.
Exactly. And that's, you know what I'm saying? So do you actually run with
it? I mentioned last week, I found their little that moment in the match on Raw
on Raw,
endearing, actually, between them.
Yeah. And their social media presence, like Ophelia says, them on social media with each other is funny and it's good. The shirt, we're not I just feel like this is working. And we all know eventually tag teams like this don't last. Like eventually, you know, it is what it is. But I do feel like we're seeing a side of it looks like Charlotte's having fun. You know? It looks like she's actually enjoying this. Like enjoying doing this. Like it's kind of opening her up a little bit. And I don't know if you want to run away from it so quickly.
She needs rehabbing after that dreadful Tiffany shit. So,
and I think this is working. I think this is working at doing that. I really do. That pop that she got at Evolution, man, that was different. That was a different type of thing. And you could see it in her face immediately that she was like, "Oh, okay." Like it meant something to her. And
because I don't remember who she sat down with.
She was on the Undertaker podcast.
That what people were like, "Oh, she's actually like funny and like
I think it was
normal. She's likable."
Yeah. I think it was she was the guest on the Undertaker podcast either last week or the week before, and she was I didn't watch the whole thing because I just don't watch that or listen to that podcast. But the clips that I saw, she was hysterical. And that Player Tribune's article, if you still haven't read it,
was very highly regarded.
Really good. Yeah. And she talks about some real shit in there. Really good. And like I think a lot of people are going the way of Ophelia, where Ophelia says all of this stuff has really changed how she feels about Charlotte, starting with that Players Tribune article. I think we're starting to see that in more of a general sense. And we know the turn is coming. We know eventually the turn is coming. But I don't know if you want to do it so quickly, because I think that this is actually genuine respect and admiration that they're getting as a team. But Charlotte, I would think
maybe Alexa would turn.
I would be way okay with that.
But then I don't know if I think they need to stretch out. They maybe need to stretch this out a little bit just so that this way, when that does happen,
I agree.
If that does happen, it actually does make Charlotte look more like a genuine babyface. Because if it happened already at SummerSlam, I don't think it would work out for her.
I agree. All right, let's make our way over to the AEW side of things. Dynamite last night. They are in the second of 3 weeks at the residency in Chicago, Illinois. And boy, oh boy, are they planning to blow out the finale next week. My God. But we will get there. But the show opened up with Hangman Adam Page versus Wheeler Yuta. Before the show, Sandy, I will say to you, we rag on Drew every week for not watching NXT, which we think is the best show WWE has. I will rag on you. AEW is the best wrestling product in the world right now by far, and it has been for months. So you should watch you should watch AEW. We're going to talk about that, Ophelia. We're going to talk about that because I have opinions about that. We will dive in. So as we rag on Drew for not watching NXT, Sandy, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. You know we love you here. I'm going to rag on you. Watch AEW. It's the best wrestling product in the world. But anyway, I digress. So before this match, we saw Renee Paquette flag down Hangman in the back. And she's about to ask him about this upcoming match with Wheeler Yuta as Hangman says he's getting revenge on all the Death Riders for the bullshit that they've done. And he's interrupted by MJF. And MJF says, I'm going to take that world championship from you without even having to use this damn thing, pointing to the contract and stuff like that. And Hangman stops him dead in his tracks. And he goes, we both know that you either need to earn it or use that to take this from me. And we both know that won't happen because you are a child and you are a gutless coward. And Hangman just walks away. And MJF just has that menace. I thought Hangman I love Hangman, but I thought specifically on the microphone last night, I thought Hangman knocked it out of the fucking park every time he talked. He's the champ. You can feel the confidence coming out of him now that he's the champion. Like he don't care about anything. He don't care at all. Says that to MJF. MJF with the menacing stare. Then we get the opening match. It's him and Wheeler Yuta. Very short. Very short. Hangman.
Yeah, it was shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Yes. Wheeler
Some
attacks
matches
him.
went 2 segments.
Yeah.
And this one I was expecting that as well. And it's like, oh, the bell's ringing already. Okay.
Yeah. Wheeler attacks Hangman before he even gets down to the ring. Like as he's walking down in the ring, does a suicide dive, just attacks him, starts off fast, but Hangman quickly takes control and he basically handles Yuta. He throws him into the barricades on the outside a couple times, hits the big fallaway slam, the big boot, hitting some big chops, does the Death Valley driver, and then he basically just hits the buckshot and good night. The match is over. However, and Hangman brought the chain with him. That was one thing that was very noticeable is when he was walking down the ramp, he had that chain with him because after this match, Hangman wastes no time. And he goes and he grabs that chain. He loads his fist. He decks Yuta. He's beating him up with the chain. Yuta is busted open, dripping blood everywhere. Hangman wraps the chain around Yuta's neck. We think he's going to throw him over the ropes and hang him like he does, but he doesn't. He does the run and he stops. And the camera goes in and he looks right at Yuta. He goes, you notice how they're not coming out here to save you? Where are they? They're not coming to save you. They don't care about you. And then he just drops Yuta and he leaves, but he stares at him the whole time. And you could see Yuta clearly needing medical help. He's shaking, dripping blood, but he's staring right at Hangman because Hangman is psychologically now getting into the head of the Death Riders and especially Wheeler Yuta. And he got in the head of Wheeler. You could see it in Yuta's eyes that he was like, you're fucking right. You're right. They didn't come out to help me at all. They were going to let you kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I love this.
I do too. I thought it was going to be Brian that was going to get Yuta out of this, but I think Hangman is perfect. And the way that they're doing this, because we've seen there were teasers of this not too long ago where it looked like Yuta was kind of second guessing a lot of this. But then he went right into like fully accepting it and doing everything that they wanted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this now because as we saw throughout the show, not a single Death Rider had any comeuppance to, like they all got pretty much defeated. They were all defeated in a sense, with minus the main event, which we'll get.
Yeah.
But even then, they also weren't truly. There was also an upper hand there as well. So it's really the whole show was the Death Riders are starting to crumble.
Yep. That has been the theme. All In was they literally crumbled it All In with the title. But that is definitely the theme. I love Asian Joe's comment in the chat. He says the arc of the Hangman character throughout the 6 years of AEW has been incredible. Whether it was the imposter syndrome, blinded by rage, or this confident in his own skin version of Hangman. And I agree. Listen, the way that he has been treated since the onset of this company, it's really the best character arc. I would say it's the best character arc in all of professional wrestling over that span. It is just, his character has been treated with such care in every aspect that there's a reason why he's called the main character of AEW, and it's because of the way that his character has been treated, and it has just been truly incredible. We see a backstage promo with Athena and Billy Starks. I love that Athena and Billy Starks, because I love Billy Starks too. I love how she's on TV all the time. This is, God bless that Athena.
So she won, and that was a fear from some people. It was like, she won the thing, but is she going to be on TV every week? And she has.
Yeah. She's asking Billy Starks questions. She's saying it's Shark Week. Well, Athena's wearing like a shark fin, and she goes, she's just like, I'm going to take everything from you, Toni, and it starts tonight. And Billy Starks in this promo says, I'm going to beat you tonight. And Athena stops her and goes, no, that's not what tonight is about. Tonight is about you taking out Toni.
Yes.
So don't get ahead of yourself. Tonight is about you taking her out, not beating her. I'm going to beat her. And I thought that was very good. That was very good. And what also was very good was this friggin' tag match. So they announced earlier in the night, we have an 8-team tag team tournament to crown the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate. And the first match that we got right out of the chute was FTR and Jet Speed. And boy, oh boy, this match was a 3-segment match. And I was nervous at first because it looked like Speedball might have actually tweaked his knee on that double jump out to the side. He was really, and commentary was good on saying it, but he was really shaking out the knee for like the 5 minutes or so after dive out there.
He is excellent. He is so good at this.
Oh my God. But this match was truly incredible. 3-segment match, back and forth. I went into this thinking FTR was going to win, but there were multiple points throughout this match where I was like, holy shit, I don't know who's going to win. That's how good this match was. Jet Speed is phenomenal. They are both those guys individually, but as a team.
That entrance theme. I love that entrance theme.
As a team, these guys are so legit. But at the end, a victory roll pin, which I loved. I loved the little quick roll-up win in like a very even match. FTR does get the victory, as we saw Stokely Hathaway, who was coming out on a crutch, soaking in the spear that he got from Adam Copeland last week. He used the crutch as a little bit of a help to help Dax pin Kevin Knight and secure the victory for FTR. Can I just say, and this has been happening for a while, I think Dax Harwood might have the second hardest chops in all of wrestling behind Gunther, because holy shit.
Yeah,
they are loud.
Ooh.
They are very loud. They are very loud. He's just a stiff motherfucker when he wrestles. Like everything he does, it looks like he lays it in. And I appreciate that. So Drew, I love this tag match, but can I tell you, I loved what happened after even more. Even more. Afterwards, Tony Schiavone, very begrudgingly, because he does not like FTR at all. Tony Schiavone gets in the ring. You could tell he doesn't want to be interviewing these guys. He's not having a great time. But he gets in the ring. He talks shit about them. And Stokely grabs the mic. He says that Adam Copeland belongs in prison. He should be in prison, Drew, for what he did to Stokely last week. He goes, everyone in this company knows that I'm not a professional wrestler. So Adam Copeland had no business putting his hands on me last week. He's a horrible human being. He's a loser, and he's a cancer to AEW. And he says, but it doesn't matter what anyone says, and he gets cut off by Adam Copeland. who comes out, and Adam Copeland is making his way down the ramp, and Stokely goes, you don't come down here. You know, you can't come down here. You can't be near us. How we doing around the ballpark? Welcome in, my friend. We just started our AEW discussion not too long ago. And Stokely goes, you can't come down here. You remember last week, if you get in our vicinity, you touch us, you're fired. And Adam Copeland goes, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. He goes, but just so you guys know, I made a business arrangement. And I made a business arrangement with some guys so they can come down there and do what I can't do. And it just so happens that these guys are in the business of hurting people. And the Hurt Business music starts, and Edge is doing, I called him Edge. Adam Copeland's like doing a dance. He's so giddy. He's like dancing almost. He's fucking pumped. I was pumped. The Hurt Business comes down. Adam Copeland and MVP shake hands. He kind of looks at Bobby and he looks at Shelton. They take off the belts and hand them to MVP, and they get in the ring and they beat the shit out of FTR. And
Remember what we talked about not too long ago?
I love this, Drew. I loved babyface Adam Copeland making a deal with the heels to get revenge on. I love it. Don't matter if we're good or bad. Business is business. Business is business.
It's happening.
I loved everything that had to do with this. Yeah, APA vibes that's a good call out around the ballpark. I fucking love this, Drew.
This immediately became the biggest thing I became interested in, because remember what we talked about like 4 weeks ago. The whole the trajectory of the tag titles was going to be that eventually it was going to be FTR and then Copeland and Christian
for the titles.
This whole segment showed everything that's going to happen in the next month and a half.
It was brilliant. You have the business arrangement with Adam Copeland and the Hurt Syndicate establishing that relationship of sorts. You have FTR and the Hurt Syndicate fighting and getting physical with each other. And we're going to talk about what happens the rest of the night, because there was more foreshadowing that happened the rest of the night that I think will come into play with all of this. And Asian Joe is leading into it in the chat. I will come back to that comment, I promise. And they got physical. That foreshadowed the inevitable tag team match for the titles that we are going to get between FTR and the Hurt Syndicate, probably at Forbidden Door. Everything about this I loved. And I just love the aspect of like overwhelming top babyface Adam Copeland going to the evilest of the evil, saying, hey, I need you to go beat the fuck out of these guys. Money's money. I don't care. Go do it. And MVP, I love the Hurt Syndicate also agreeing.
Mm-hmm.
And them showing like, hey, we don't care who the fuck you are. If we're doing business, we're doing business.
Right.
Loved it.
It was perfect.
Everything about it. This was so I was like, holy shit, this rules. I was like marking out like I was a fucking teenager. Now we don't know the rest of the teams. Unfortunately, we found out that Colton Gunn is hurt, which sucks because the Guns just came back. So they're not in the tournament, which that just sucks. I would have loved the Guns to have been in this tournament because I think that they turned themselves into a really good tag team before they went out the first time. And then they just came back, and now for them to be out again, that's just a bummer. That's just a bummer. We're going to talk about it because right after this, we saw a backstage promo from Nick Wayne. He was with Mother Wayne and Kip Sabian, and they talked about
tying all this in.
Oh,
tying
baby.
It all in.
Yep. They talked about what they talked about last week, and they said verbally we explained ourselves, but it's time to start speaking physically. And they said Saturday on Collision, we're going to show what we're capable of now that we have been uncaged. Are they going to call them? If they call themselves Uncaged, I'm all in on that.
That's going to be.
I'm all in on that. That's a great fucking name. Uncaged. Love it. So I would expect Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian to be in this tournament. I would. I wouldn't be shocked if they made a run and the finals of this tournament was FTR versus Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. Wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked because that would be because then you have the group that Adam Copeland fucking hates and the group that Christian Cage fucking hates. And they're in the finals against each other to go face the Hurts. It's all right there. It's all right there. So I would expect them to be in it. When you have a tournament of 8 tag teams, I would expect the Outrunners to be in there. When you have no, they just got eliminated.
Oh, right, they were eliminated.
Now think about that. Think about
they
that.
Should have been in it.
Where Jet Speed has been shown over and because I think they've actually built Jet Speed up to be a really important tag team in that division. Like they've built them up. They matter in that tag team division. And in this tournament, they just got eliminated in the first round.
Yeah. It sucks.
Think about that.
But telling the story that they're telling.
I have a question for you. They weren't on the show last night. Do we think the Young Bucks end up in this tournament? Because if they do, they're losing in the first round.
I don't
add on. You don't think so? I think they're gonna end up in this tournament to try to we need to get our names.
If
back
they
up.
do, it needs to be almost a
first round
match.
Yeah, it's gonna be a first round upset. I think they're gonna lose to some. Like I would love if the Outrunners beat them. I think that would be fucking magnificent.
Actually, that would be good. I would like
that. Would be magnificent if they were in the first round matchup against the Outrunners and the Outrunners beat them. And then that just continues this bum ass run of the Bucks and their luck. And just like something like that needs to happen, I think.
Yeah.
If they're going to be in the tournament. But I could see them saying, we're not EVPs, but we want to be in this tournament because we need to not reinvent. I'm not thinking of the right word, but we've had a bad run of luck. We need to kind of reestablish who the fuck we are. We're the Young Bucks. And we're tired of that. Everyone's been ragging on us for a few weeks. We're embarrassing. We've been embarrassments. We need to remind people who we are. We're the Young Bucks. We're the best tag team of all time.
I feel like it makes more sense of them not being in the tag title tournament because
you're probably not
being emasculated right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't it emasculate them more if they were in the tournament and they lost in the first round? Wouldn't that just add on to?
If it were against the Outrunners, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. See? Joe's on my side. He said the Outrunners beating the Bucks is the best idea you've had so far this show.
If it's the Outrunners, I agree with you.
That would be so wonderful. And if you could actually, because I know that the Outrunners and FTR had a little bit of a feud here. You could make that because FTR was up here. If that bottom one is the Young Bucks versus the Outrunners, and the Outrunners upset them and beat them, then you could run back FTR and the Outrunners again to get to the finals and have them fight one last time. I think that's a way that would be good. That would be good. But anyway, I loved everything that had to do with that. Now we're going to stick with this story because later on in the evening, Renee Paquette is in the back and she runs up on the Hurt Syndicate and she asks MVP about the business arrangement that they made with Adam Copeland. And MJF shows up and he goes, "Yeah, Renee, good question. I would like to know too what that's about." And MVP just says, "Hey man, we're in the business of making money. And we're in the business of, it was a business arrangement." And MJF says, "Okay, well, where's the business arrangement that helps me get back my world title?" And then you see all three of them kind of okay. And Shelton very politely says, "Hey, Renee, can you give us the room?" And Renee leaves. And the second Renee leaves, MVP kind of looks at Bobby and gives him a nod and kind of turns his back. And Bobby grabs MJF by the throat and slams him against the lockers. And he said, "We don't have to do shit." He goes, "It's always I with you. And it's getting annoying. And as far as I'm concerned, you're out." And he gives the thumbs down. And Bobby leaves. Shelton, shaking his head very disappointingly, leaves right after him. And then MVP looks at Max and kind of shakes his head and leaves as well. Now, I don't think this is the official MJF being kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate yet, but I mean, we're on the fast track to it happening imminently, if that wasn't it. But I think this all ties into it because now MJF has a reason to cost the Hurt Syndicate those titles against FTR when FTR wins this tournament, which then leads to the Adam Copeland and it all ties together, Drew. And I think that they are doing this wonderfully.
Beautiful.
Real good.
This makes my heart happy. It does.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about MJF a little bit later because he was involved in another segment. But this is great storytelling. This is great storytelling throughout the tag team division, which is nice to see because the tag team division has taken a step back here over the last year plus. So to see this many layers being formed, always love a tournament. Tournament should be fun. But to see all these layers being formed that will be shown throughout this tournament and just in the tag team division as a whole, love this. Very much love this. Okay. We then saw, John Moxley cut a promo, a vignette in the back, which was really good. He was talking about he was impressed with Hangman's victory at All In. He was impressed. He was impressed that Hangman got to that level to walk out of All In the way that he did. He said, but now's the hard part. He goes, now you got to wake up and do it again. And he goes, now you got to wake up and do it again, and then wake up and do it again, and so on and so forth. And he goes, as for me, I lost the match. He goes, no reason to be a bitch about it. There's no reason to be a bitch about it. He goes, I'm ready to go again. And he goes, this isn't a movie. The credits don't roll. The cowboy doesn't ride off here. He goes, a mistake was made, and I will fix it. And he goes, and by the end of the night, he goes, we all know the Hangman that rode into All In, but by the end of the night, we're going to find out the Hangman that rode out. Good stuff. When these vignettes with Moxley, he always crushes these. Like, he's just fucking, this is like his element. He's just so good at it. And then he walks off and Marina Shafir she pauses and kind of stares a hole through the camera as that ends. So I thought it was a good thing. And then at the end, and then we get to Will Ospreay. And I know Peggy mentioned it earlier. Will Ospreay comes out. He says that Tony Khan had no idea he was going to be there today. He flew himself out. And he just asked for 5 minutes to kind of come out and talk to everybody about what's going on. And he goes into it. And this was a very serious tenor that he had at first. And I was like, oh shit. Like, this had the vibes of like the Kevin Owens promo where he was like, I'm going to be out for a year. That was the vibes I got here. He said he had been struggling with his neck for about 10 months now. He had some issues. He said, usually the medical staff is right on it. And he said, but that wasn't the case this time. And it wasn't because of the AEW medical staff. It was because of him. He was hiding it. He didn't tell anybody. He kept it close to the vest because he wanted to see everything through to the finish line of what was going on with AEW. And he said, that's on me. I should have told people. I should have told the refs. I should have told the medics, the other wrestlers. But I really just wanted to get AEW over the finish line. I made a lot of promises to Swerve, to Hangman, to all of us, the fans, that I would play a part in retrieving that world title. And the sacrifice was great. But he's proud that they got the world title back. And he goes, when the Death Riders attacked me, I was taken to the emergency room. I got an MRI. And he said his C2 and C6 have herniated discs going into his spinal cord. He goes, that sounds bad. I know it does. But all the doctors have told me it's treatable. And if everything goes right, hopefully I can be back for Forbidden Door. And we know Forbidden Door means a lot to Will. It's in London this year. Like, you know, he wants to be at that show. He thanks Swerve and says he loves him. He tells Hangman that he's glad to have him as his champion. And it was a privilege fighting alongside him, but he did say he wants his rematch. He said, "I'll be coming for that rematch, lad." And then he talks to the Death Riders, and he says, "The moment I am fit and healthy, where I come from, it's called eye for an eye." He goes, "So I'm coming from each and every one of you fucks." And then as Will Ospreay leaves, Swerve meets him at the top of the ramp. They embrace in a nice moment, and Swerve raises his hand to the crowd. And I thought this was very, again, when Ospreay started talking, he was emotional, and I thought that he was about to tell us he was going to be out for like a year. I really did. So the fact that he's saying he's hopeful that he could be back in 3+ weeks for Forbidden Door, not only is that incredible, but I was relieved.
Yeah.
Because
Same.
it felt like this was going down a way longer path before we might see Will Ospreay again.
Like Peggy just said, we saw the Adam Cole one very recently that had that same type of like, oh no, is he going to be gone for a long time?
Yeah.
And so I would assume, I mean, I don't know what match he would have if he's able to have a match at Forbidden Door, or if he'd just make an appearance at a Forbidden Door.
It sounds like he would be wrestling, right? Because he could make an appearance even with the injury, but this sounds like he's at least trying to recover so he could probably wrestle, right?
I would assume so, but it's what it sounded like in the promo.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe if he's got these issues, maybe he should just take a little bit of a break.
It sounds like he probably could use it.
Honestly, I feel like that would make next year's All In even more special, because next year's All In is back in London, and that should be the crowning moment for Ospreay.
Yeah.
So I feel like actually I would be fine with him sitting out this Forbidden Door, just so that next year's All In has a really special addition to it. Being, was he at last year's Forbidden Door? I think he was.
Ospreay? Yeah. Who the hell did he
was.
fight? Yeah, he was there.
Is that when he faced MJF?
For
For the Atlantic, whatever, I forgot the name of it now. The international title, and when MJF made it the American title.
Oh God, remember that?
I think that was what that was.
No, Swerve beat him for the title. That's when he fought Swerve for the AEW World title.
Oh.
And Swerve beat him.
What show was MJF and Will at?
I'm not sure. Last year's Forbidden Door was when MJF had just come back, and he fought Hechicero because he had only come back a couple weeks earlier.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, that was Ospreay and Swerve. They actually main evented that show for the AEW World title, and Swerve beat him. So I think that was when. Yeah.
Oh, but that wasn't the London show.
No, Forbidden Door wasn't in London last year. It was in Toronto.
All In was the London show last year.
Yes. Yeah, Forbidden Door last year
MJF
was in New York. Did he?
I think.
No, because the Forbidden Door in London, MJF fought. That's when the Adam Cole turn happened.
He fought Daniel Garcia. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so I was wrong. Never mind. But yeah, I think that him winning the world title at
All In next year. That was. Are we talking about Forbidden Door or All In? You asked me about Forbidden Door.
It had to be All In because it was at.
Yeah, he fought MJF at All In last year.
It was okay.
Yes,
that's what I thought.
But at Forbidden Door, he did not. He fought Swerve.
Right. I forgot that for just this year, Forbidden Door, the London show.
Yeah.
So yeah, All In was the London show last year. That was when he fought for that title.
Yeah.
So I feel like for next year's All In back in London, that should be his world championship achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be really fun to see.
It should. It should. But obviously, really, really happy that it feels like it's not, hopefully, going to be a long-term thing for Will. So, I had been looking forward to this match all week, Drew. Billy Starks and Toni Storm. Billy Starks is 20 years old. 20 years old. And when you look at her, when you look at her on the women's side, and then you look at Nick Wayne, who's 19 on the men's side, and just how they perform, not only in the ring, but just how much they get it and how much experience. They are well beyond their years. When you have two people like that at that age that are going to be really like the future of your company for however long, man, oh man, just truly incredible. But Billy Starks and Toni had a really, really good match back and forth. Athena was watching from one of the overhangs at the top of the venue.
This venue is beautiful and perfect for stuff like this.
Yeah. And I thought this was really good because you could see Billy Starks at points in this match when she would do something big to Toni. She was almost looking up at Athena for like approval. You know, she was looking up like, see what I did? And Athena would be like, yeah, okay.
Where you could see Athena up there while Billy, you know, like, they're really great camera work. They are really great.
Yeah. And there were a couple points where Billy came close to beating Toni, where even you could see it on Billy's face where she was like, oh shit, I shouldn't beat her this quickly. Like I'm supposed to be hurting her and like wearing her down and stuff like that. It was really good. And this was a good back and forth match. At one point, Billy goes for the Senton Atomico, but Toni gets the knees up and she locks in the TCM chicken wing, and Billy has to tap out. But immediately after the match, Billy Starks attacks Toni, hits her in the face with the title belt. She calls Athena down. Athena makes her way down. She cracks Toni in the face with the contract she has. She's talking to Aubrey like she wants to cash in
at that moment.
Yeah, like she wants to cash in the contract. But then we hear and see Alex Windsor, who is fighting Athena for the Ring of Honor World title this Saturday on Collision. We see Alex Windsor come down, make the save, and she starts mounting punches on Athena until Athena and Billy Starks run off. And that is how this segment ends. So no cash in for Athena. Very much a strong tease of it, but they definitely built towards the Collision match with Alex Windsor and Athena.
And I also just found out that Alex Windsor is with Will Ospreay.
Yes, they are. Yes, that is his lady. That is they are a couple. So
I did not know.
Yeah. So at Grand Slam in Australia a little bit earlier this year, Athena and Alex Windsor had a tremendous match there. So if it is anything like this one on Saturday, should be another good one for the Ring of Honor Women's World title, as Athena is on her way to 1,000 days as Ring of Honor Women's Champion. So, yeah, a real good segment there. I'm very, very loving, and I said it at the top, I really love seeing Athena. Like, it feels like this is the first time officially that like Athena is now like she's in AEW. You know what I mean? And that feels great. That feels great. Hechicero and Swerve had a really good back and forth match. This was one of those matches that Dynamite puts on where you see it booked and you're like, oh, that'll be a really good match, but we 1,000% know who's winning. But that'll be a really good match. However, Swerve won by DQ, which, even though I feel like they're happening more frequently nowadays, disqualifications are something that still do not happen that often in AEW. So at one point, Swerve was on the top rope. It looked like he was going to end this match, and Lance Archer hit the ring, pushed Swerve off. They get a DQ. Post-match, we see Brody King and Bandito make their way down. They brawl and kind of get Archer and Hechicero out of there. And then we see Kazuchika Okada attack Swerve from behind with the steel chair, but Swerve knocks him down, gets a headbutt in, some horse collars he puts the horse collar with the chair. It looks like he's going for the house call with the chair around Okada's neck, but Okada retreats and gets the hell out of there. Yeah, good little fun thing at the end of this match. I mean, I know it's probably going to be Forbidden Door. I don't want to wait that long. I want Okada and Swerve now. I want it now. But yeah, it was one of those things where last week when it happened, I didn't know that I didn't know they were going in this direction with Okada and Swerve.
Yeah.
But the second they did, I was like, give it to me.
Yes.
Give it to me.
Absolutely. Give it to me.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at. So I thought this was a good little piece of business. Good match between Hechicero and Swerve, but the winner was never in doubt. We then had Ricochet and Gates of Agony, or as he told Renee to refer to them now, GOA. So they're going to be called GOA from now on. They look like they belong together, this group. They look like they belong together. They look very fitting now that they're all kind of dressing alike. The presentation, they look like they belong together. Ricochet said it's GOA now. He's been trying to tell people for weeks, but maybe they're listening now after they had 2 back-to-back victories in one single night. They don't care what you think about them, but one way or another, you're going to respect or fear them, and that's a demand. And then he does his little laugh, and they exit stage left. So it looks like a trios here. Johnny Ricochet continues to just be performing at a level that is just, it's a top level. I love these guys being inserted into the you can do a lot of things with them. They could just, GOA can still be a tag team and Ricochet a solo guy. They can do trio stuff. There's a lot of ways they can go, but I am very much enjoying this group. I think they fit very well with each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Dynamite drop in, Drew. Dynamite. We know Drew is enjoying it for another reason. So this is where we get MJF once again. He gets to the ring. He says, I don't need Bobby Lashley to get my world title back. I don't need you, Bob. And as far as the Cowboy goes, you guys want to call him a coward. He's not he said, you guys want to call me a coward? Hangman's a coward, and he's a hypocrite. He won't wrestle me unless I execute that contract. Fine. He goes, I'll wrestle him fair and square and get my title back around my waist. He is then interrupted by Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe makes a kosher pickle joke. He said, much like your kosher pickle, I'm going to keep this short. He's saying he's doing all he can to exercise his self-control because he wants to take that microphone and just shove it all the way up MJF's ass. He goes, but they'll dock my paycheck, and I got kids, man. I got kids. He goes, but Max stole the casino. He goes, you stole the casino gauntlet from me, and I want him in the ring right next week, Chicago, you and me one-on-one. Max, being Max, says, no. Nope. No, not happening.
That pops me every time.
Every time he just goes, yeah, no. He says, Mark, you're wrong when you say that I cost you that match, because if you were supposed to win that match, you would have. But when the pressure is on, Mark Briscoe loses. He goes, but MJF wins when the pressure's on because I'm a generational talent, baby. He goes, I'm the most complete professional wrestler in the world today. He goes, I'm going to be honest. He goes, and I hope you can take this one on the chin. I think you suck. And I think you're white trash just like everybody else here. But I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid. I know everybody loves you, Mark. He goes, look at you. You got a wonky eye, missing teeth. You got a silly accent. You're funny. You're entertaining. He goes, but not even your biggest fans actually think you're a top guy. He goes, be honest. He goes, not even your biggest fans think you're anywhere near my level. You're a joke. You're a circus clown they parade around for cheap pops and cheap laughs, and these people don't actually respect you. And then MJF says, but I knew another guy from Delaware that people actually did respect and look up to. And everyone knew. Yeah. He goes, that guy would have been worth my time. And he goes, and I can't imagine how depressing it must be to Mark to look his fans and family in the eyes, knowing deep down no one will ever respect you as much as they did your brother Jay. And that causes Mark to walk right down the ramp to get in that ring to try to beat up MJF. But the second he gets in that ring, MJF runs away and he walks out.
Like a gutless coward.
Correct. Good promo. I thought it was very telling when MJF says the line, not even your biggest fans actually think you're a top guy, because I think this mini feud that Briscoe has had with MJF is the start of the evolution of Mark Briscoe to become a top guy in AEW.
And this wouldn't be the first time that they used MJF to transform a character.
Yep.
This year.
And I think that Mark Briscoe getting a little bit more serious here these last couple weeks, I think that elevates him immediately. Like, yes, he is funny and he is entertaining, and that is part of the reason why we love Mark Briscoe. But part of the reason why I love Mark Briscoe is that dude goes 110%, 100% of the time when he's in that wrestling ring. He does not half-ass anything.
But MJF is right that most of his fans know that he's not a top guy.
Right now. Right.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that Mark Briscoe, sooner than later, will be a top guy for AEW. And I believe if they lean into this side of Mark Briscoe, that promo that we saw last week that he cut, and even tonight, Mark Briscoe is a guy that I look at and I go, that if they were going to do a run with Mark Briscoe going for the world title, it would be overwhelming support from everybody for that guy to be the guy. Like, he just has regular guy, underdog. Like, he has, again, I say it, he has that Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, Mick Foley, like that Sami Zayn, that everyday kind of guy that the fans just adore. Mark Briscoe is one of those guys.
Yeah.
I liked it, Drew. And then that led right into the main event of the evening, which saw Mark Briscoe.
People didn't like, so Scott just mentioned
go ahead.
it. People didn't like MJF's promo this week, but
I think people just hate on MJF.
I mean, yes, I understand the similarities week to week of MJF's style of promo.
Yeah.
But if it's serving the purpose of telling the story, which is obviously MJF knows that Jay means the world to Mark, and if you shit talk and involve Jay, that's what's going to get the serious side out of Mark, and that's what we need to see. That's what the story is telling. Then I'm 100% on board.
Agreed. And that transitioned us right to the main event of the evening. It was Mark Briscoe taking on Claudio Castagnoli, the first time that these two have fought in AEW. And this was actually the first singles match between these two guys since 2011 in Ring of Honor. That's a long time. And this was a good main event. This was a good match. Back and forth. Obviously, we know how good both these guys are in the ring. This was back and forth. There was some action around ringside on the floor, stuff like that. Claudio at one point was doing the swing with Briscoe into the barricade, kind of back and forth, which is always a cool looking spot. Mark Briscoe hit a suicide dive. He hit the chicken standing on the announce desk. He did a nesty plunge. He got back inside. He did the froggy bow, in which Claudio kicked out of. Then they were up on the top rope, kind of jockeying for position. Claudio crotched, like he crotched him and did a super avalanche body slam to Mark Briscoe from the top rope, which, a body slam is one of the most basic professional wrestling moves. But for some reason, whenever you see an avalanche one, which doesn't happen often, I think that is one of the most badass looking moves there is. I'm just like, that is just incredible. And they go back and forth. And this match actually ends with the small package. Mark Briscoe signaling out to MJF once more with a small package victory over Claudio. And Mark Briscoe steals it, gets the win. And right after the match, Marina Shafir is in the ring. She chop blocks Briscoe. Jon Moxley comes down. He says that Hangman thinks he's a champion because he's rocking around with the belt. He's not a champion yet. And they're here to make sure nobody gets too comfortable. And while he's saying this, Claudio has the open chair, and he drops Mark Briscoe's stomach first on the open chair, which we saw injure Hook and take out Shibata for a little bit. He does that to Briscoe. And then Adam Hangman Page's music hits. And I loved everything about this because Hangman walked right down to the ring. All the Death Riders are down there. And Hangman's like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
He's right in the ring.
Yep. I'm not stopping at the top of the ramp. I'm not hesitant to get in this ring. He walks right in the ring, right in Jon Moxley's face. And he says, you and I both know that you were lying when you said that I didn't want Texas Death. He goes, but I do believe you when you say that you don't think I can get up and do it again and again. And he goes, next week, Chicago, you and me. And he goes, and I don't want this Jon Moxley standing right here. I want the Jon Moxley who carried AEW through the ups and downs the last 6 years. I love that fucking line by Hangman. He goes, I want that guy. I want the Jon Moxley that carried this company. He goes, next week on Dynamite, you and me one more time for the world title. He goes, but this time you're the challenger and you're going to play by my rules, even though Hangman was the challenger when he made Texas Death. So that doesn't really make sense. But we're going to forget about that. So he says, John, you're the challenger, so you're going to play by my rules. He goes, everyone but a referee will be banned from ringside. And then Hangman says, and since I already know your answer is yes, I'll see you next week, dumbass. And he drops the mic and he leaves. And I thought Moxley's reaction to this was perfect because he is so pissed, like he's seething because he knows Hangman is right and he can't do a fucking thing about it. And Moxley is so pissed. And next week on Dynamite for free, we are getting Hangman and Moxley World Championship rematch.
Everyone banned from ringside.
I love it. I love it. In a regular wrestling match. No Texas Death. No whatever. This is a regular, good old-fashioned one-on-one wrestling match between these guys. No interference. No outside interference. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. We have ourselves a main event next week. I am very much, as I think everybody is, looking forward to that.
Yes. And as Around the Ballpark just mentioned, I think it is going to be the end of this after next week. And then Moxley will, and them will move on. And maybe, depending on, Claudio's been losing the stuff with Yuta. Maybe
I think Marina's I think Marina's going to be the only one that ends up sticking by his side.
Oh, you think that
I don't think
she'll kick him out.
Has he done anything to Marina? Like, they've left Claudio high and dry. They've left Wheeler high and dry. I feel like he's been pretty loyal to Marina throughout this. Like, I feel like Marina is really the one. Oh, yes. And one thing to mention, Asian Joe, thank you for mentioning him. In this match, we did see Darby Allin in the crowd that distracted Claudio. We did see Darby Allin pop up in the crowd. Didn't do anything really, just kind of staring down. But that was a distraction that kind of led to Briscoe kind of one-upping and getting the package victory and stuff like that. So it feels like Moxley will, after this next week, Darby will be the one that Moxley is kind of setting his sights on, right? That's what it feels like where we're going.
Yeah, that'll be Darby and Moxley will continue into All Out probably.
Yes.
That'll probably be their match. And then I actually forgot about Darby. I'm glad he mentioned that.
Yeah. I really like this. I like this a lot. We very rare that you get world title matches on the regular shows. And this is going to be a good one. They did this small little 3-week residency in Chicago, and I think that they're really trying to blow that last show out of the water. And adding a world title match of that magnitude, that is a way to do it, especially if we end up somehow getting MJF and Briscoe on that show. Because I know MJF said no, but if we end up getting MJF and Briscoe added to that show, plus kind of the stuff we know we're going to get more tag team tournament matches on that show.
It's going to be a big show.
It is. It is. Very much looking forward to that show. I thought another real good episode of Dynamite. They are just continuing with their momentum, and they're just putting on good shows. It is easily the easiest watch of any wrestling show I have to watch every week. I don't say half, but I watch every week.
Yeah. Johnny, they will not.
They will not. I feel as confident as I can be that is a scenario that will not be occurring. Now, can I ask you this? Do we think there's a chance that MJF teases a cash-in next week?
I think he will, and then Mark Briscoe comes out.
And then maybe that sets up the one-on-one for the following Dynamite, maybe.
Prevent a cash-in. Or for Forbidden Door.
Yeah. How many AEW versus AEW matches are you going to have on Forbidden Door, though? Isn't the whole point of Forbidden Door is AEW people versus other people?
Big matches, I feel like the title matches could be AEW versus CMLL or anywhere else. I feel like that would be, just have to showcase matches between title holders, between New Japan and CMLL. I think would be good. So Hangman could face I don't who's the New Japan champion?
I don't know. As of this current writing, I do not know. It's not Go. It was Goto for a while, but I think he lost to somebody. So I don't think it's Hiroki Goto anymore. So I honestly don't. I don't keep up regularly with the New Japan product. I know it was Zack Sabre Jr. I know Goto beat him. I don't know who beat Goto. But so, I don't know the current,
whoever that is. Maybe we get that match. I don't think that these matches need to be. When I say special, they're going to be special, but they're not for something. They're just oh, I'm the top champion of this brand, and you're the top champion of that brand. So let's, how they kind of made Survivor Series for WWE for a while, just Raw versus SmackDown, that type of a thing.
Yeah. Actually, it's Zack Sabre Jr. again. So Zack Sabre Jr. won it back.
Oh, give me Zack Sabre Jr. and Hangman 100%.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
So Zack Sabre Jr. won it from Naito last October. He held it till February, which Hiroki Goto beat him, and then just at the end of June, so not too long ago, less than a month ago, Zack Sabre Jr. won it back. And Scott is saying that Goto has an elbow injury, which is forcing him to miss the G1, which is currently happening. The G1 is happening right now. Yeah.
Oh, and Gabe Kidd is also injured. He's out of the G1 as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So it's back on Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, you want to give me Hangman versus Zack Sabre Jr.? Yeah. Okay. All day. I'm in on that. But yeah. And that was basically Dynamite. Again, AEW is just hitting for me, Drew. It's hitting for me. And it's been hitting for me for a while, but it's hitting for me.
And hitting since around Dynasty for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a disappointment, Fernando, to me. Good wrestler, but he was world champion for a while, and it was maybe, from what I watched of it, maybe one of the worst title reigns I've seen in a bit. I don't know everybody that's in the G1, but if they were to go back to Sonata, that would be a disappointment. I feel like you should do more than that. But it is, listen, I love the guy in AEW, clearly. but I have been a big proponent of, I don't know how New Japan Pro Wrestling is not going to Takeshita and saying, hi, we would like to sign you to a New Japan exclusive deal for the next 5 years and make you our next star. And you are going to carry this company.
Doesn't he have a contract with them?
He does, but he has contracts multiple play. Like to me, it is a no-brainer that New Japan would be eyeing Takeshita to be the next guy that falls in the lineage of Japanese superstars to carry the company. Shinsuke, Tanahashi, Okada, Kota Ibushi. Like, Takeshita should be that guy. Yeah. That's just how I feel about that. I feel like if Takeshita was like, hey guys, I'm going to go spend the next 2 or 3 years over here being their world champion and running this company, I'll pop in for Forbidden Door and every so often. I think Takeshita should win the G1, Scott. I think Takeshita should be the crowning guy that wins that title at Wrestle Kingdom. That's how I feel. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to me.
The Wrestle Kingdom is in January.
It is, but the winner of the G1, they get a cup for winning, and they get the world title match at Wrestle Kingdom. That's what they earn for winning the G1. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I feel like it should be Takeshita. I feel like Sonata is just a retread to a world title reign that not a lot of people liked. So I don't know why that they would want to go that route when you have somebody who everybody adores, like Takeshita, sitting there right for you. But we'll see. But anyway, that's going to do it for us. We're going to get out of here. Good AEW stuff to talk about. Some interesting WWE stuff to talk about. Next week, obviously, will be a SummerSlam preview, as we will be days away from SummerSlam at that point. So we'll be breaking down the whole card of SummerSlam, obviously talking about what goes down in AEW and that world title match we're getting. It feels like that AEW goes out of their way now during the big WWE shows to really make that Dynamite matter. You know, the week of WrestleMania back in March, that was the week that they did that big show in Boston with Mercedes and Athena and the trios titles with the Op. And they had that big, what do they call it? Spring break, right? Is that what they called it? Spring
break-in?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, spring breakthrough. They did that in Boston the week of WrestleMania. Now they're doing a world title match with Hangman and Mox days before SummerSlam. It feels like that's what they're going for. They're not going to count a program like the other guys, but they're going to have you going into the weekend talking about the great Dynamite show that happened and kind of do it that way. So I like it. I like it. It kind of sets in motion a great weekend of wrestling when they do that. And I think it's going to set it in motion next Wednesday on what should be a really, really big Dynamite. So we're going to be talking about a fantastic Dynamite. Hopefully we're going to be talking about a 2-night SummerSlam for the first time in that card, which again, listen, regardless of the things that we're thrilled and not thrilled about, as far as the booking goes, if you look at that card, it's a good-looking card. It's a good-looking card at SummerSlam. There's a lot of matches I'm very, very much looking forward to that should be great quality matches. So we'll have to see what hopefully the full card is looking like by the time you and I meet here again next Thursday. And we'll break it down. We'll talk it through, and we'll go that route. But until then, for Mr. Drew, why don't you let the people know where they can follow you as always, and then we'll do our thing and get the heck out of here, man.
Follow me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter and Blue Sky and Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And that's it.
Hell yeah. Follow me, JPJ Loves Gaming, all social media platforms. I will be right back here tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Between Two Beards, the flagship show here at Love Wrestling with my main Squeeze Pluggo. You can catch my work on Body Slam every Monday night after Monday Night Raw with Raw Dogs, and after AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays with Dynamite Up. And then please follow and subscribe to the Hive Media on all the social media platforms. Our Love Wrestling pal, Josh Robinson, we do some stuff with them. I do a show called The Swarm couple times a week, and this Saturday night at 8 p.m., right around the same time that Collision is starting, we're doing our SummerSlam 2K sim that we do every month, which is always a lot of fun and just chaos and a lot of fun. It's always a great time. So come hang out, get ready for the big weekend next week. That's where you can find us. Until then, another fun one, Drew. Another fun one. We spent the first 35 minutes not even talking about wrestling here. It was a lot of fun. Drew and I will see you next week. Thanks for everybody in the chat. You know who you are. We love you all. Appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your Thursdays. I'll see you a little bit later tonight. We will see you next Thursday. Until then, y'all know the drill. Peace out.